coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by ADT, by Chase, and by Kohler. It is a gorgeous day here in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida on this Tuesday afternoon. The stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. There is a look at the famous Island Green. By the way, that whole location, oh, we could have some interesting shots there today. And all these players and teams are playing for that, the trophy here at the 2024 PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. Our Titleist tournament format, it looks like this. This is a 3-day, 54-hole stroke play championship. Played over 2 courses, the Stadium course and the Dyes Valley course. 5 divisions will be named champions. The men's Division 1, Division 2, the women's division, and then individual champions for the men's and the women's. Today, we are watching on this Stadium course the women's division. And in that women's division, well, it looks like Texas A&M Corpus Christi right now has a 12-shot lead. They are going for their 4th consecutive championship here in the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. The men's Division 2, they are led by Austin Shoemaker. And Austin Shoemaker has helped his team jump out to a 4-shot lead. Austin Shoemaker was 4 under on his round yesterday over at the Valley. Today, he is +2 through 10 holes here. Now, the men's Division 1 team play was playing over today at the Valley course, and Florida A&M opened up a huge lead over Alabama State. They are +14, next closest at +35. The men's individual, it is still underway, and Sparky, I tell you what, he's looking like the form of 2022. He has a 1-shot lead over Yuki Liu. This should be a lot of fun to watch the remainder of today and also tomorrow when they're back on the stadium course. And for the women's individual, Una Shu has a 2-shot lead, but look at how tough it's playing. Not one player is at or under par on the women's side. We'll see what happens the rest of today. Well, we are looking now at the 17th hole, and with that, we will say hello to Steve Burkowski.
Good afternoon, Justin. Take a look at Tori Mouton from North Carolina A&T on the tee. You referenced the whole location here today, Doug. I think the potential for an ace, a good opportunity nonetheless.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, where that hole is cut and situated in this front left corner, you have all this backstop that you can use to your advantage. And what a shot right there. A little slippery one down the hill.
So Tori, from the medalist standpoint, not the individual competition, but for the women with a medalist opportunity, leading the way at even par. Her teammate, Jayla Rogers, next to play.
I'll tell you what, Burko, when we did look at the hole, I was out rolling balls this morning, just right where this pin or hole location is cut, it's in the bottom little collection area. You can use that backstop, spin it back down the ridge, but you can't tug it like that unless it's long.
A little too long there for Jayla. Doesn't matter if it's the Players Championship, PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. You can see it too, or you can see a much bigger number here at 17. No one's immune to the fear standing on that tee box.
Except for that bird.
He doesn't have a care in the world. Kylie Leaf from Bethune-Cookman University. So she's got one good visual, Doug. The other maybe not so good. How do you stay in your lane and focus if you're this young woman?
Yeah, you just jump into pre-shot routine. You pick your spot. That bird was a great line off the tee, and where she's got this cut, you can already tell she's got her feet aiming well right, trying to play a little draw. If she can get one on the surface, would work its way to the hole, but hopefully that bunker might catch that one. But I saw some droplets.
She kind of aimed over there, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think, again, it's the 17th, the Island Green, the fame hole here at TPC Sawgrass, and there's a bit of get me out of here as well, Burko. It's I want to hit this shot. I've been looking forward to it, but when you get here, whew, let's get it over with.
Well, Justin, we saw it yesterday. You had a coach on the green. His guy had a birdie putt, and he made it. And we were scrolling through social media earlier in the day, and I'll be darned, that's how things develop on those platforms.
Obviously, this course, the stadium course, designed by Pete Dye, it is famous. But really, it's because of this hole, this green, that put its stamp and put this course on the map. And everybody, when they come to TPC Sawgrass, they want to play that hole.
It's the first shot anyone has ever asked. What'd you do at 17?
Yeah, what'd you hit?
Yeah. Let's go over to 2.
This is Jack Yeager from Chaminade. Hit his tee ball out of bounds, so he had to re-tee. This now his 5th at the par 5 second.
Well, again, Justin, just a shot you got to bear down on. If you can get out here with 7, I think that's really all you want. Opportunity, though, for 6.
And that's what's crazy, Doug, is to reset your mind. You get to a par 5, you're thinking maybe birdie. Now you're thinking get out with a 7.
Well, what's interesting about this tee shot is it's so narrow, and for a right-handed player, it forces your eye line out way right. You're trying to hit that draw, and as you all know, with the technology now on the driver, very difficult to get that turning over right to left. I advise a lot of players, just go ahead and lay back. Make this a 3-shot hole at 532.
All right, back at 17, Kylie Leaf from the drop zone.
Playing 75 yards today, Burko, and it's still a tough angle of a shot. And wow, flirting with the edge
Kylie.
there.
I like it. That's how you bounce back. Good look to save 4.
That in the air made me nervous. Let's just be honest. That landed 2 paces on top the bulkhead, and maybe she can get out of here with a 4, and it won't feel as bad.
She can ignore the tee shot and tell everyone what she did with her 3rd. Impressive bounce back as we head over to the par 5 9th, getting ready to watch Samantha Gibbs from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, her 3rd shot. Craig Perks, the 2002 Players Champ, down there watching this foursome.
Good afternoon, Steve. 102 for Samantha, straight downwind, and these greens are really starting to firm up. Samantha 1 under par through 8 holes, playing very nicely, and that's an excellent shot.
Tell you, Perks, I love the angle and the numbers. She left herself right there and left that under the hole, putting up the hill. Opportunity to get another one back, should I say.
Samantha, the freshman from Fort Worth, Texas, part of the Islanders from Texas A&M Corpus Christi contingent here this week. It looks like Trinity Ahing from North Carolina Central, the Eagles, getting ready to go. She's got a couple wins on this season and leading the team in scoring average, so not a surprise to see her in this final group, Craig.
Yeah, and had a beautiful tee shot and laid it up in a good spot, and maybe to Doug's point, with it being straight downwind, potentially a little close, 68 yards, but sitting on a nice little upslope, and if you can land it right on the very front of the green, that part of the green is pitched back towards you. But you have to dial it in here. Some of the shots she has hit as I've watched are quite low. This one needs to bounce forward.
Well, Perks, we couldn't see where that one just ended up. Felt like it might have caught the bunker or the top of the lip just short.
Yeah, great look from high above the aerials of TPC Sawgrass, the stadium course. Nearing 90 degrees temperature today. It's a warm one. Breeze up again just a little bit, but couldn't ask for much better conditions than what we have seen through the first 2 rounds of play. Kendall Jackson from Howard University, part of this final group that we'll be watching. Marquee group, let's call it, on this Tuesday afternoon. Junior from Pearland, Texas, and she's awfully impressive. Couple wins this season, one of them by 14 shots. We'll call that lapping the field, and a couple of top 10 finishes. Her first 2 go-arounds in this PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. And Craig, a lot of us have gotten to see this young lady through the past couple of years, the growth, the development, and what this program as a whole for the men and women have been able to accomplish in less than 4 years as a D1 program. Truly remarkable.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed with Kendall. Drives it a long way. She actually only had 205 to the front of the screen, and it's an iron to the spot, and if it had got a straight bounce, it might have gone all the way on the green. She's left with something quite difficult. Downslope in this very coarse, overseeded Bermuda. It's going to come out low with no spin. Tough to get to that front hole location. But it was just an iron to the screen, so she certainly can overpower this golf course playing a little under 6,000 yards.
Doug, we've seen that a few tournaments over the past couple of years. When Kendall's playing well and striking the ball nicely, it's kind of a different game from which she plays relative to those around her.
No. Yeah, and I've talked to Kendall in length kind of about her distance and what kind of pressure that's going to put on these shots right here, Craig. And she's worked a lot with Trillium Rose back there at Baltimore, and trying to just manage these little touchy shots around the greens. And Craig, she's got this little knob that she has to come over and down. She can probably use that to her advantage.
Actually, I think you could play it into it, Doug. I don't believe you can land this on the green and keep it within 20 feet, especially with the lie and the downslope. Might have just carried that a little too far, missed that upslope.
That was a good call, Perks. That's just not a very easy shot. Tyre Green running away from her from that front right corner. Like they say, Perks, is all downhill from there.
We go back to the second, and this is Micah Stangby for a birdie. And look at that, Micah Stangby drops one out of Kentucky State University.
You got to love anybody that's affiliated with the state of Kentucky, Justin.
Yeah, the thoroughbreds.
That on the way at the 9th from a hang just short of the green, so keeps it underneath the hole. Chance to save her par. Craig, conditions today relative to what we saw yesterday, pretty similar?
A kinder, gentler stadium course. The winds gusted up to 25 mile an hour yesterday. They're right around 10. Same direction as that prevailing breeze off the ocean southeast, but certainly much warmer today. It's in the 90s, and ball traveling a long way. It's an adjustment that these young men and women have to make.
We make our way over to the 17th. This was a moment ago. Jayla Rogers from the back part of the green. We've seen quite a few through the years from that position to that hole location.
Burko, it's just so hard to see how much left to right there is late in that putt.
Now live with Kylie Leaf, be a pretty impressive 4.
Just outside the left edge, and it is drip pace.
There you go.
When's the last time you saw a fist pump for a bogey?
Well, I think she knew what could have happened. When you head to that drop zone or stay on the tee box, we have seen through the years and the decades of the Players Championship here, you think of Len Matisse, Sean O'Hare, Paul Guidos, plenty in clutch situations see their day and championship unravel. So good for Kylie.
Yeah, I feel like that bogey is almost just as memorable as a birdie there.
And back over to the 9th. Chelsea Medina from western New Mexico, just short of the green.
And she's on the team because the #1 player from western New Mexico is actually at regionals, so she's filling in and handled herself very nicely yesterday. It's been a little bit more of a struggle today for Chelsea.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal, Craig, from this championship, to develop these teams, these players, to be able to go to the Division I regionals as the men from Howard are doing this year. I mean, maybe 5, 10, 15 years from now, Doug, they'd love to see a half dozen teams getting in the mix each and every year.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a championship that was born out of necessity for the HBCUs that did not have a national championship. And now it's grown into what we see today.
In there safely at the famed 17th. Day 2 is underway here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championships. Today's coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship is brought to you by Chase Sapphire. Upgrade your travel and dining experiences with Chase Sapphire. By Kohler, helping people live gracious, healthy, and sustainable lives. And by ADT. When every second counts, count on ADT. Welcome back to the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by Chase Sapphire on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon here at TPC Sawgrass, the stadium course where we are watching the women's team and the men's Division II. This is Austin Shoemaker, +2 on his round today, Doug, but he went low yesterday at 4 under.
Able to find the fairway here off the tee, and that's probably the hardest part of this hole, just finding the fairway, especially for a right-handed player. And down green side, he'll have a chance to get up and down, make a birdie.
Justin Kutcher alongside Doug Smith, the 2005 champion. Steve Burkowski's got you covered on the holes, and Craig Perks, our 2002 Players champ. That was a tap in for Kendall Jackson. The Howard Bison.
Disappointing par, Justin, being so close in 2 and unable to convert. But we're talking about a 2-putt from Craig, somewhere around 30 feet.
So they will make the turn. That was head coach Sam Puryear, who's in charge of the men and women at Howard University. And Doug, what he's been able to do, creating the programs really from scratch after the support from Steph Curry, you couldn't get somebody better with the ties to collegiate golf, his time at Michigan State, and he's fully committed to taking them to a level we just haven't seen before from an HBCU program, and I think that shows the possibility of what this can be.
Well, Sam's a guy that's always had vision. I remember my days at the Bill Dickey Invitational, back in the late 90s, and Sam was already there trying to shape the young minds into how to think about this game, not even, just be players, but be a part of the game in some capacity. We see Patterson hoist one here.
Yeah, that's a tee shot of Victoria Patterson from Texas A&M Kingsville. Wonderfully played. She'll have a look at birdie, but, optimism from my perspective, covering college golf for a quarter century of things changing, developing, growing, and all of it in such a positive light.
And it shows you what can happen when you get the financial support. When Steph Curry really does that, provides the financial support for Howard, they're able to do great things.
No doubt about it. Now Maria Villamil from Lincoln University. Tee shot on the way. Does it have enough? Oh,
man, get
barely.
Risky with the front edge, and big breaking putt left to right coming up. Tell you, she had her breath held there, Burko.
She can exhale. It's dry.
Well, I just exhaled as well.
Yeah.
Austin Shoemaker, this is now his third at the second.
Yeah, going upstairs, really all you have, but straight downhill, down grain from that position.
And Doug, did you notice how he ran up afterwards to see where the ball would go as it went by the hole to have a read for that birdie putt coming back?
I did notice that.
Yeah. Sneaky. Austin Shoemaker. There's a reason he went 4 under yesterday. A look at the ADT leaderboard for the women's team competition here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi, guys, a story developing again. Texas A&M Corpus Christi going for their 4th straight championship. Howard, the women, are trying to creep up. This was moving back and forth early. This is at the 18th. Mouton. Second shot.
Man, that hole cut in a very precarious position. You have to error right. Anything left you get repelled right at the bottom of that little collection area that you see in the middle of the green. And I think all kinds of drama there. But even though she missed the green, that's the spot, Justin, that you really want to putt from.
Back to the front side. Second. This is Austin Shoemaker at the second. His birdie attempt.
Yeah, give it speed burst to get to the hole.
So he'll stay at -2 for the championship, but +2 on his round today. Ooh.
Is that balk?
That was a pump fake. That was a Nestor Cortez right there. Bogeys at 14 and at 1 for Shoemaker today.
Go back to the round yesterday. The scorecard was littered with birdies. It's a little different today here on this course, and we've talked about the challenges of going from one course to another. And talking to Sam Perrier from Howard this morning at breakfast, he said, look, we're just gonna accept the fact that it's two different courses. We're not gonna try to adjust. We're just gonna play the Dye Valley course and then bring the game over to the stadium course.
We head over to the 10th. This is Lucia Ramirez from Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Trying to keep one there on the high side. That had to look good for a very long time. And yeah, you get those putts down the hill with the big breakers, and you're just hoping for that last little bit of turn. Gotta knock something down from deep.
I beg your pardon. That was Lucy Charbonnier. Back-to-back champion here. Well, back-to-back medalist, I should say.
Get off me.
Not the champion.
First bogey of the day. Man, some solid golf again. Corpus Christi.
Now Morgan Harrell from Howard has a look at birdie, the sophomore out of Dallas, Texas. 3 top 6 finishes in her last 4 starts. And Harrell trying to help her team right now as they trail by 9 to Texas A&M Corpus Christi.
Yeah, one of my favorite holes on the golf course. It's a simple hole, just a little dog leg left, and you get this downhill second shot. Morgan got to give it some juice to get it up the hill.
Oh, nicely done. Morgan Harrell out of Howard with a birdie.
If we could just bottle up her attitude and sell it on eBay, we'd all be millionaires. One of the kindest people you'll interact with. Just seems to never have a bad day.
I'm lucky enough to be a member at Woodmont Country Club in Rockville, Maryland, where this team plays and practices. You mentioned Trillium Rose, who helps out with them. They have such great attitudes, both the men and the women. Watching them play, go out there, it is awesome. Shondine Harper from Western New Mexico.
Watching Shondine warm up this morning, we were talking about her braids. She said it always has to be on the right side. It can never be on the left. It's distracting over there, but, well, it's not distracting on the right.
That's fair enough.
It's fair. You know,
it's like when you wear a hoodie.
Tell me more.
You don't want it on one side as you come through with your swing.
That's fair. I'll take that.
Sydney Renville.
Loose analogy, but I'll take it.
It's the closest I can come to knowing what it's like to have a braid. From North Carolina Central. And Renville's in for her par.
This is that part of the golf course, Justin, where you're resetting from the front 9. You're starting the back 9. You need to go ahead and rehydrate.
Tori Mouton at the 18th from off the green using the putter. And Doug, a professional may use a wedge of some sorts, but now that's a really scary shot as we go to the 3rd.
And pick up Austin Shoemaker, his tee shot here at the par 3. This a moment ago, 2 under, leading by 6 and taking dead aim at that one. Heck of a shot there by Austin. Now Ethan Alexander from Chaminade, sophomore from New Rochelle, New York. That's a bit of a journey back and forth.
They have direct flights.
Long ones, very long ones. But he will have a look at birdie as well. Ethan, 3rd team all-conference performer as a freshman. Team was 4th in the conference championship just a couple of weeks ago. We'll keep it here at the 3rd. Emmanuel Lim from Bluefield State, the freshman from Lake Worth, Florida.
Should be just a slight bit of help, Burko, in this third hole. But that back left hole location, that'll give you all you want trying to chase one back there.
By the way, Burko, could you argue with Ethan Alexander? I mean, you and I both grew up in the Northeast. If we have the opportunity to go out to Hawaii for college, I'm taking it.
Tough to say no. Tough to say no. Robert Johnson now from Kentucky State here at 3. And the sophomore is going to miss that one short and left. Ooh. The frustration, the stadium course has brought many to their knees as day 2 of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship continues on this Tuesday.
Welcome back to the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championships here at TPC Stadium Course, which opened back in 1980, designed by Pete Dye. 18 water hazards. Of course, you think about the one on 17, you think about the one on 18. This course, it is truly a championship stadium course. As we head out to 18, Tori Mouton from North Carolina A&T for par.
So you're putting off the green, left herself 4 feet above the hole, and dang, that is such a slippery little putt that starts to work its way right back up the hill toward the clubhouse.
Second for Robert Johnson, greenside bunker at the 3rd. Not a ton of green with which to work there, Doug, so you just got to make sure you give yourself a chance for par.
It's so steep from these bunkers, Burko.
There's Emmanuel Lim. Little double clutch there. See if we can get it a bit closer.
Oh my God.
Seemed like he got a lot of ball right there. Trying to use speed to elevate that shot.
Let's head over to 10.
Trinity Hing in the bunker at the 10th.
Yeah, Justin, 160 and not the best of lies. She does have a clear view of this flag in the front. Tough to get the ball solid from out of here, Doug. Get it to the green.
Is she going left of the tree?
No. There's no room over there. She may have to draw it potentially.
Go.
That got caught up in the rough, but it hadn't caught the rough. It might have got all the way to the front part of the green.
That was a pretty bold move.
Aggressive line. I like that. Sometimes you got to roll the dice out here.
Tori Mouton at the 18th to finish up with a bogey. It's just one of those feelings that you hate, right? She hugs her teammate, Jayla Rogers, to finish your round with a bogey. But look at the smiles.
I mean, there's some anguish there too. She's just like, whew, this has been a day here at the stadium course.
Back in the fairway. That is Kendall Jackson getting ready for her second.
Yeah, and Doug, as far as she hits the golf ball, the fairway would have run out about 235, so she hit an iron, which leaves her right around 130. And now that she's turned that corner you've talked about, the wind, which was in their face off the tee, is now pretty much just straight right to left. This is really quite a tricky green. It's huge as you look at it, but it really plays a lot smaller than that. You can't miss right or left with this front hole location, and if you get long, it runs off pretty quickly. You got to be really precise here.
I tell you, only 7 paces on and 7 from the right, so there's not a lot of space, Greg, in the front part of this green complex.
And if you ride the wind, which is right to left, there's only 4 or 5 paces beyond it when it really drops off. Center of the green would be certainly all you're looking for Kendall.
How about that move through the ball?
It's all active through the strike right there. And, you know, these are the shots that she and Trillium have been working on. Sam, you see a lot of conversation post shot. And Perks, I think she almost hit it too good right there.
And yeah, right over the flag, and if that's a yard left, it's down in that bowl, which is really tricky to get up and down.
So now Samantha Gibbs, the freshman out of Fort Worth, Texas. Think about, here she is with her team trying to win their 4th consecutive women's team championship here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. As a freshman, she's out here playing in this group.
And a good soul too. She volunteers a lot of her time to the first tee there in Fort Worth. Beautiful tee shot here for Samantha around the corner. Just 108. Again, this ball needs to carry at least to the flag.
Sometimes, Perks, you want to take on that front number.
Yeah, that might have been misstruck. It's an uphill pitch, but it's still a difficult one.
Head over to the third. Robert Johnson from Kentucky State trying to save his par.
Gave it all he could give it right there. Burko, it looked good. That's why you really have to miss wide, especially here at the stadium course. And using that jailbird putter, so popular out on tour right now, starting to filter its way down.
A lot of passion and fire by the competitors this week. A lot on the line.
Yeah, you know, I think back as Shoemaker was attempting a birdie, but I think back to, you know, those images we saw from Doug Smith when he won in 05. Do you think he could have pulled off that hat? I mean, you talk about Kentucky. Could you pull off the hat that Robert Johnson is rolling today?
Well, now living in Arizona, absolutely. I see the value of a hat like that. I didn't back then. I don't know if I had the confidence to make such a fashion statement. Still don't, to be quite honest.
You lacking confidence? Come on.
That's blasphemy. All right, Ethan Alexander at the third. All right, well done.
Sometimes you just got to make a bogey and run. And the par threes, Burko, here on this golf course, they'll give you all you want.
Yeah, we know how far 8 can be pushed back. We've seen at the Players Championship, long irons, even hybrids, when into the wind as we go back to 10.
Yeah, you can barely see her with Chelsea Medina with her, I believe this is her 3rd shot.
Yeah, that is correct. And from such a severe upslope, overseeded rye here, very sticky. And where the ball is landing, it's going to be rolling away from her. That's a pretty good shot to get it on the green.
Yeah, and you could see, Craig, it almost looked like that rough just grabbed her club and turned it, as now it filters down away from the hole, and you could see her just looking up like, man, There's a reason why the Players Championship is held here at TPC Sawgrass Stadium course. It's a big-time test, and these men and women are finding out here in day number 2. Welcome back to the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by Kohler. A look at Dyes Valley. We are playing this championship on 2 courses, the Stadium course and Dyes Valley, which opened in 1987. The men's Division 1, Florida A&M running away with it right now, with Alabama State in second. Sparky Arichak-Macon is tied for the lead with Yuki Liu. Yuki Liu, how about this, guys? 5 under on his round today to get into that tie. And the women's individual, Una Shu, had a 69. So now she is +1, has a 1-shot lead, which again just sets up for an exciting Wednesday over at the Stadium course.
I think it's going to be an absolute treat tomorrow coming down the stretch. Arguably the best closing stretch in golf, 16, 17, 18. I'm already excited about it.
Samantha Gibbs, her 3rd at the 10th.
It's a pretty straightforward pitch if you can land it in the upslope.
And that was nicely done.
Yeah, I took Greg's advice perfectly. Now, I've been interested to see how many, the variance between the club choices. Perks, I've seen players, playing those 8 and 9 iron bumping runs around these greens and even electing the putt.
The Islanders of Texas A&M Corpus Christi head coach is Pat Stevens. And they're located, I know it's shocking to hear, but in Corpus Christi, Texas.
It's a good guess there.
Yeah. They've won the last 3 PGA WORKS Collegiate Championships. Kendall Jackson with her 3rd.
Tiptoe along the ledge and very quick.
Really nicely judged there by Jackson. She'll have a tap in for her par.
He's such a fiery player. If she can just see one kind of fall, one birdie go, I think the lid's going to open up and we'll start to see her make birdies in bunches. How things work coming to the par 5, 11.
She was even on her round yesterday, +2 on her round today. As far as the medalist competition is concerned in the women's team, she's just one off the lead. And the practice facilities here are unbelievable as we head out to the 11th.
The par 5 tees up a little bit this week, Doug, so opportunities for the men and women to give it a go, try to knock it on the green in 2, but don't be wayward, especially right. Sydney Renville from that back bunker from North Carolina Central, and gave it a look going by.
Yeah, and I appreciate, you know, the host committee kind of moving a par 5 up and making it play a little more gettable to the eye. But this hole, Burko, still provides you all the drama that you need, because if you wipe one left to right, you know, there's a lot of water down that right side. Might even be saved by that beach bunker down the right.
Sydney, the sophomore from Cary, North Carolina, in the Raleigh area. 9th event of the season. We head over to the 4th.
That's Robert Johnson.
Gouging one out, and that is such a tough shot to get the number right. And Justin, we haven't seen many players playing from the rough. They've either been in the fairway or the pine straw, but do you see the divot that just left?
Yeah.
Plotz is going to have to go out there and replot some grass, because wow, that was earth removed.
This is Austin Shoemaker from Lincoln University of Missouri.
Really have to guard against left, and that's where that started. Hopefully it's got some turn in the air. Sure did. Man, that just had 0 spin on it. That's going to go a bit further away from the flag.
Emmanuel Lim from Bluefield State University.
Gets the whole body into that motion. Love that. Balanced finish. That's the number.
Oh, just can't get over the ridge.
That's just like Pete. Give you a nice little kind of short hole and give you a diabolical green complex. All repelled back to the front of the green.
Let's go over to 10. Trinity Ahing has this putt now for her par, and that is a great par save, and you can see her show the emotion. Sun's out, guns out for Trinity Ahing, working on the tan lines too. I love it.
Let's go up to 13, the par 3. Carla Puente Fernandez from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, long birdie putt. Well judged there. Green speeds, Doug, where you think they need to be for this championship, especially for a lot of people never seeing it for the first time?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're right around 11 on the STIP, and as Perks was talking to some tournament officials this week, but the grain, you know, can play completely different, Burko. You know, up and down the hill with the grain, it could be up to 13 or down to 9.
That's Renville trying to save her par at 11. So I'm going to give at least one back there at the par 5. What was your strategy, Doug, when you'd see a golf course for the first time? What would you try to learn in 2 courses, in this instance this week, of trying to formulate some type of game plan as we quickly watch Kendall Jackson on the tee at 11?
The tee shot back into the wind, Steve, but she can use her length to the advantage and get it all the way down the fairway. Just avoid that bunker down the left.
I don't think she avoided it, Perksy, but you know, to your point, Burko, you know, I always wanted to know the lines off the tee and where would a wayward drive get me. You know, now there's Decade. You can kind of come out and, you know, play your practice rounds well before your first round. I tried to play from off the middle of the green, so I would put to each corner of the green from the middle once I got greenside, and Hing's now about to go ahead and let this thing fly here, Perks.
Yeah, this is strategically such a difficult golf course, and it's just challenging to try and learn it in such a short amount of time.
Similar spot for the tee shot, that is, of Trinity Hing. Now up to the green. Morgan Horrell putt on the way.
But it's so, with this championship and the field size being 180 plus, Burko, it's also 2 practice rounds. Usually you go into a championship, you've only got 1 course to deal with. You go out, you do your thing, you learn, you take your notes. But here, you've got 2 days worth of practice rounds. You're going off in a shotgun format. Much more difficult here.
Gibbs, tee shot at 11.
Yep, nice little high draw. That's going to find the fairway, I believe. Oh, man, that was unlucky. And now it becomes an extremely difficult layup from in that bunker. A lot to deal with.
Take a look at 11, Doug.
Yeah, we just get a little airborne right here. I love this drone shot. You see the bunker down the left that Greg was talking about. Get on the edge of the fairway, this left edge. It's going to repel balls down. If you get lucky, you can get on that little island, and you're going to have to play away from that side. But then here comes the difficult layup. You want to give yourself enough yardage to get some spin.
That was Lucy Charbonnet at 11. That was for par, so she'll drop one there. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi in a good spot. 11-shot lead, but as I referenced yesterday, Justin, divided by 4. There are 4 counting scores, so if someone's tuning in for the first time and they think 11-shot lead, it's over. No, a bogey here, a birdie here, and you can cut that in half quite quickly.
Yeah, Doug, I thought you said it great earlier before he came on the air. You said it's like watching the stock market.
That's it. It's going to go up and down and ping around, and Shoemaker from over the back. And I'll tell you what, he's made a great tee shot, turned the hole, and made it very difficult.
Now Emmanuel Lim for birdie at the 4th. Needs to get it there.
See that grain change, and Burko and Justin, when we're playing golf and we got these ridges to deal with, and then you have the grain change on top of it. That was uphill into the grain, but it plateaued down grain. Makes dialing in your speed that much more difficult.
When you think about all the teams touching all the corners of the U.S., some don't see Bermuda quite a bit. You know, we hear it quite often. The grass in the Pacific Northwest and the Southeast, very different.
Now this is Robert Johnson. His birdie attempt going to come up well short. Yeah, I mean, if you play in the Pacific Northwest, you're going to play on Poa annua, maybe. Fescue. If you're going to play in the Southeast, you're playing on Bermuda. If you play in the Northeast, you're going to, play on bent grass greens, which everything rolls differently. Although with technology, the Bermuda is starting to roll more and more like bent. However, you got to deal with the grain.
Well, especially with the 2 courses here, you're putting on an overseeded rye Poa annua green here at the stadium course versus coming off a Tiff Eagle Bermuda on the die course. So we're seeing players that dialed in their numbers yesterday on a completely different putting surface, strain of grass, all of the above, completely different. You have to give them a little credit for the adjustment.
This is Ethan Alexander out of Chaminade, as Burko said before, courtesy of New Rochelle, New York. That's a quick, 13-hour flight. Oh.
Hey, that looked tasty off the blade.
It's a good roll. He's had a couple of good rolls. Seems to have the speed dialed in here. But he'll drop a shot to +6. Now this is Shoemaker able to save his par.
He is working. He might as well have his hard hat on right now because he is at work.
It's got to be just such a thrill. I mean, here you are, college kid, here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship, getting a chance to play the Stadium course, at Dyes Valley course. And if you're someone like Austin Shoemaker, who went out yesterday and shot 4 under, and now you're just grinding on the Stadium course, you can brag about this for the rest of your life.
You can. You can brag about it, but you know, right now, no one is caring about the bragging rights. They're caring about putting up a good number, representing themselves, their school perfectly. But it's the opportunity to be a national champion. That's what it's all about. PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Lincoln University on top by 6.
We welcome you back to the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by ADT. Second round coverage of this national championship. Justin Kutcher alongside Doug Smith, Steve Burkowski on the holes, Craig Perks on the ground. And we are now joined by a special guest. His name is J.R. Smith. You may know him as the 18th pick back in the 04 NBA draft at a St. Benedict's Prep High School in Jersey. Played 16 years in the NBA, 2-time champion, and 16 with the Cavs, in 2020 with the LA Lakers. And all of a sudden his career ends and he's like, you know what? I'm going back to college. I'm going to North Carolina A&T. I get a 4.0 GPA, and oh, by the way, I also make my way on the golf team and become the academic athlete of the year. And so here now in 2024, he's still going to school and he's making his golf broadcast debut. JR, thank you so much for joining us here. It's really an honor to have you, and we want to just get your perspective on what you're seeing so far in the first 2 days here.
Appreciate you guys having me. This is a tremendous experience. I'm really excited just to be doing something completely different out of the norm and get to see some of these, really good golfers.
You're getting a chance to see some of your teammates. They were all so excited to see you. You were going out, giving them hugs. What's it like trying to cheer them on now and be that professional broadcaster as well? Remember, there's no cheering here in the booth.
It's hard. It's hard. You see your teammates out there battling and grinding, and you know what they're capable of, and sometimes they come up short. But, you know, you just try to cheer them on the best you can, put them in the best possible position mentally, and just keep telling them you're proud of them, and just let them go out there, battle, play their game, and see what comes from it.
We head out to the action at 13. Emily Main from Howard getting ready to go at the par 3. I think many are intrigued, JR, of after 16 years in the NBA, where did the love of golf begin for you and translate to college?
It started pretty early in my career. I was in Houston working out, and Rashard Lewis, one of the good guys that he is, we were working out, and he started a foundation. His first foundation event was a golf event down in Houston, and just so happened I was out there showing support and pulled up on a Hall of Famer, Moses Malone, and he kind of, you know, took me under his wing.
And by the way, let's expound on that. Moses Malone, faux.
Yeah. You said it.
What did you do the first time you hit a golf ball?
I hit it 300 down the fairway.
But it's the second time.
Yeah.
It's the second time they got him hooked.
And then how many golf clubs did you buy after that?
I bought about 3 sets that day, and I went from like Nike Sasquatch to the TaylorMade R7s, the Titleist AP2s, all in one day, just thinking I was going to figure it out, and it was the clubs. No, it was my first day.
So you officially got the golf bug.
Yeah, I still kind of got it. My girl's kind of upset in my garage right now.
All right, we watched Samantha Gibbs here at the 11th, and if you were in a spot like this, a third shot at the par 5, let's tap into your knowledge and acumen of the game of what would you be thinking right now if you're Gibbs?
For me, I'm just aiming center of the fairway, or center of the green, rather, a little left of the pin, just trying to, you know, get out of there with par. You're in a tough spot. You don't want to leave it in the bunker. You definitely don't want to go over. So for me, I would just probably play at 5 feet left of the pin and just try to make 2-putt.
You like that thought process, Craig Burks?
I love it. Center of the green always works. That's what Scheffler, Scotty Scheffler's done the last 2 years, and he seems to have success. About 90 yards here for Samantha, and that's just like JR asked, and that was well done.
Yeah, Burks, she's got a lot of stopping power on that. I thought we might see that ball bound forward a bit more.
Make our way over to the 5th. Jack Yeager has this for birdie.
Well, see, JR, you and I, we go way back, so I'm going to ask you, why are you not out here playing right now? That's the real question.
Man, you know what? After the last couple tournaments, I haven't been playing too well, and got moved out of the lineup, which is, you know, part of the game. But just got to, you know, keep my head in it. You know, you hit one OB and it just gets in your head, and you start putting up a really big number, and then it just escalates going down in tournament golf. And, you know, just tournament golf and playing leisure golf with your boys and a little match, and you picking up balls is not a completely different game. It's essentially like going out and playing pickup in the park or playing in the NBA in the organized game. It's completely different. So I'm just translating that into more competitive rounds and just trying to get my feet wet.
That was the 3rd at 11 for Trinity Ahing. Great one from the bunker, so she'll have a look at birdie. And anything from your NBA career, preparation-wise, game-wise, competitively, that has translated at all to golf?
Yeah, the amount of time I spend on it. Honestly, probably even more. I spend a lot of time on it. I understand the work ethic behind it. It's just learning, doing the right drills and practicing the right way, I think, more than anything. A lot of people just assume, you know, because you're in the NBA or you're an NBA player, you just go out there and roll a ball out and you just play. And a lot of it is actually skill work and skill development. And changing over to golf, I'm really learning how to practice the right way and work on the right things where, you know, again, Doug was talking about it earlier, things like decades really help your game, and just knowing the analytics of your swing and how far you hit the ball, all of that plays a tremendous part in this game.
Kendall Jackson, 3rd at 11.
So difficult to get this ball out of the center of the face with the stance, and she's done a beautiful job.
Heck of a shot there by Kendall Jackson. Over to 5, 2nd for Austin Shoemaker. Really good sturdy par 4 here, and it's just gonna hang in there barely.
Yep, he came out of that shot early, just a touch. So
Make our way back over to the par 5-11, 4-shot for Chelsea Medina.
And this is even more difficult. Ball well below your feet coming out of the rough, and to get it on the correct plateau, that's also well done.
So she will have a chance to save her par. Make our way back over to the 5th. Emmanuel Lim from Bluefield State, the freshman, his second.
Tell you what, Burke, we're seeing a lot of guys hit fairways out here. It's kind of a second shot golf course overall, in my opinion. People might think differently. That's out wide right. We got to start working balls toward the hole location. Work them in from the wide side.
Keep it right here with Robert Johnson from Kentucky State. You mentioned Moses Malone, Rashard Lewis. How many of the guys NBA play golf during the off season or the downtime?
You know, it wasn't as much as it is now. The younger guys and the younger generation has really, I think, catapulted the game. With, you know, obviously the help of Steph has been tremendous, but so many younger guys are playing the game now. So I would say anywhere between 15 to 25% of the NBA right now.
Got to have an escape, even though it might be more frustrating than trying to get the job done on the hardwood. It's good to see that golf can grow in a lot of possible ways. Now back to the green at 11 with Gibbs.
Steve, I always found this putt is difficult because you're coming up a rise, there's a grain change, and once you get up on top, it gets very quick. But with that second of Samantha's to avoid the water, she'd just love to put 5 on the scorecard here.
About 4.
Oh, yes, Samantha Gibbs.
That's stealing one right there.
You start to see Justin and Doug after a while Texas A&M Corpus Christi, they've won 3 of these in a row and in position to make it 4 straight.
They're there for a good reason. I mean, you look at Samantha Gibbs, what she's doing right now. She's 1 under on her round, now 2 under on her round through 11 holes. And when you have that coming from your freshman,
yeah, you got 3 in the top 6 for Corpus Christi right now, so that's going to be a big hurdle for Howard or others to catch, but still a lot of golf still remaining as we keep it here on the green at 11 with the hang.
And Trinity's made a lot of putts of this length and played with a lot of emotion. We've seen some fist pumps. Certainly what you like to see. Get engaged emotionally as well as mentally.
Straight left off the blade. First, you're talking about it, and I'm seeing it, man. Sometimes just matching the line feels impossible out here on this golf course.
Up at 13, Emily Main from Howard for her par. There you go, Emily.
JR, do you see any similarities between free throw shooting and putting?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different things for me. Just the rhythm of it, you know, just getting into a comfortable rhythm of just hitting the same shot, hitting the same spots. I like to line up my right foot with the nail of the mark in the middle of the floor, and then, you know, I have these little nuances of trying to hit my elbow over top of the rim and just throwing my hand through the net, and so many different things. And then I look at putting and just lining up my putter the way I adjust the club head at address and just little things like that. It reminds me a lot of it. Unfortunately, I am not an 85% putter, so we're working on that.
Not from 15 feet?
No, not from 15 feet. No.
So Chelsea Medina makes bogey. This for birdie for Kendall Jackson. Heck of an up and down there.
Burko, we talked about it. If Kendall could just get to the 11th, see one fall, what it could do or mean for the rest of her back 9 today. I'm excited to kind of see if she's going to catch some more fire.
Over at the 5th, long putt on the way for Austin Shoemaker. That was a look at birdie, so work to do for his par, the senior out of East Moline, Illinois, representing Lincoln University of Missouri. Now back to 13, Lucia Ramirez from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And they're starting to go from everywhere, Doug.
Yeah, and with Ramirez right there, you see that brace on her left wrist. She has a torn ligament there, and she's been trying to avoid surgery for a long time, but she found her way here, Justin.
Hey, you know what? You find your way here. You want to play in the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championships.
about the Grove, Burko. The Grove 23.
And we are back at the green, par 4 fifth. Austin Shoemaker trying to save his par, remain 2 under.
Yeah, he's had a few of these the last couple of holes and got him to fall like he did right there.
It's been a great couple of days for the senior out of Lincoln University of Missouri. Lapping the field for potential medalist honors in that D2 competition for the men. Let's take a look at a bowl play presented by Kohler. And we saw it a short time ago. Samantha Gibbs, long birdie putt here at 11. Craig Burke is thinking, get down in 2, take your 5. She had bigger ideas in store. Birdie at the 11th. The bowl play presented by Kohler.
So right now, Samantha Gibbs is the medalist. The player who has been the medalist the last couple years is this woman right here, Lucy Charbonnier, who just makes that. And all of a sudden, you look at what Texas A&M Corpus Christi is doing. They have opened up a 10-shot lead. Kendall Jackson on the tee at 12.
Yeah, strategically driven is this hole. You could take it all the way down there if you want, or just get it in position. It's completely up to you.
That's out to the right.
Yeah, she forced that all the way up green side.
Yeah.
She has the firepower, and you got to take advantage of it.
Yeah, Doug, I think that's actually a really good spot, to be honest with you. Certainly where the hole is located, you've got enough green to use. You know, the water is in play down the left. And you could, the actual yardage today for the ladies, 288, is a little bit of a helping breeze. So if you feel comfortable forcing it down there, it is fraught with danger, but you can be rewarded if you get it in the right spot.
Looks to be in a pretty good position there for Trinity Ahang from North Carolina Central, the junior out of New Bern, North Carolina. And Samantha Gibbs, 2 under on her round today, has less than driver in hand.
Yeah, and I think that's the right play. Just put it into that distance that you're most comfortable with. Again, pretty accessible hole location, being in the center of the green.
Tell you what, Craig Perks, she's playing like you are at this place. I mean, she's a freshman. She's playing here.
I thought he was about to say
You were, well, your first time playing at the Players Championship, and you're the winner. Right. No problem. Samantha Gibbs is like, TPC Stadium course? What's the big deal? I'm 2 under.
Hey, Burke, are you on? I have Samantha at 1 under for the tournament. Is that which would be 3 under for the day? Okay.
Well, what year are you?
Back at 13. Corbin on the tee at the par 3.
Okay, plenty of green over there. Ball will meander, end up hole high.
And Lucy, a fixture for Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the senior from France. Justin touched on it. Medalist last 2 years. This spring, a couple of wins, top 5 finishes in each and every event. Undeniably the leader for the Islanders. Keep it here at 13. Oh, thinking twice about that one. Sean Dean Harper from Western New Mexico, the junior out of Farmington, New Mexico, finished tied for 17th in this championship a year ago.
I love a good step off, Burko. But you know a player's not mentally ready to make contact or hit the ball, step off and do this.
Oh my goodness, how good is that? Sean Dean Harper, what a golf shot.
That's why you always have to reset. You want to go into that shot committed. Sean Dean letting the braid fly through the impact zone.
You can smile, Sean Dean. That was a pretty good shot. Maybe when she gets closer, she'll realize just how good it was. Let's keep it here at 13. Morgan Horrell getting ready to go. We'll follow with our Top Tracer technology, brought to you by Chase Sapphire.
Like the lower body got out in front on Morgan there. We'll have to see where that one ended up, Burko.
She will head to the green with the hopes of being in a reasonable position considering that tee shot. The PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship is brought to you by the PGA of America and their more than 30,000 PGA of America golf professionals who love this game. Make our way back to the 12th.
Samantha Gibbs takes out the rangefinder. Kendall Jackson will be first to play. Kendall Jackson took out the driver. And Craig, where did that one end up?
Yeah, I think she's fine, actually. There's an area just short of the green, and there's an area just barely on the green that's pitched back towards her. So you can land this ball in the fringe on the front, and it just creeps down the flag. You can't fly it too deep in the green, but again, it might be a little awkward yardage at 55. She's showed a lot of skill with the short shots.
Needs some spin.
Very good indeed there, Doug.
That's pretty well done. Again, we're joined here in the booth by J.R. Smith. J.R., how would you rate that shot right there?
Their short game is amazing. I think it was a great shot. She put herself in a great position to make a putt, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, she'll have a chance at birdie. Samantha Gibbs, the freshman, not playing like a freshman.
No, much easier angle here too. Just 50 yards, pitch it short and let it release down there.
She'll be upset with that.
And mind you, Perks, that was less than driver off the tee that she forced way up there.
You know pretty early on when a player likes a shot and when a player is not very excited about the shot. Gets a pat in the back, says it's all right. Go up there, you got it.
Right.
Now Chelsea Medina.
Yeah, guys, if you go back to that original Pete Dye design, this was nothing like it is today. When I played here in those times, it was a completely different hole, and they wanted this corner of the golf course, 12, 11, 12, really, and 13, to be an exciting point until you got to the crescendo at 16, 17, 18, and I think they've accomplished that. This hole potentially needs some more tweaking, but as it being drivable on the weekend, it certainly provides a great deal of excitement.
And one thing that we should point out is all these bunkers, and there are a lot of them, they're all in play. They're not waste bunkers, so you can't ground your club. At the 6th, Ethan Alexander gets off the tree. I guess JR would be like, that's off the backboard. You've hit some of those shots.
Yeah, I've hit a few of those. And that's literally off the pines. It's a tough golf course, man. You see these guys out here grinding and trying to get through it, and it's not easy. Some of the pros just make it look so easy when they go out here and throw these numbers up. And I'm just glad these collegiate players get to see how good those guys really are.
Yeah, so Berko asked you before about the NBA guys. Michael Jordan was famous for wanting to play golf a lot.
Yeah.
Did you travel with your clubs?
Everywhere.
You did?
Everywhere. Yeah, I broke a few glass tables in the hotel.
Not one.
I got a few.
He broke a few.
I broke a few. You know, you get a little carried away and thinking you got a little more space than you do, and, you know, things just tend to break.
What was the best place to travel with your clubs to go play?
To me, I would have to say Phoenix, especially during the year. It gets cold everywhere else.
Yep.
Phoenix is really nice. I got good friends like old Doug over here who gets me out. And, you know, Silver Leaf, we get to go play good spots. So it's I think Phoenix is #1.
That the second at the 13th by Morgan Harrell. And how about that recovery, Doug?
I tell you, she's going to have a chance. I didn't think we'd see that effort upcoming for a par, but you know, to hit it that far offline and recover and have a chance. I'm impressed. I don't appreciate JR putting me on blast like that and talking about my plugs out in Phoenix, but
now this is the 3rd for Austin Shoemaker, still at 2 under, and ooh, in the thick stuff. Just a little decel. Now into that bunker.
just goes to show you, you don't always have to force something as close to the green as possible. If you have a little patience and lay back.
Chelsea Medina at the 12th, unable to convert. Out of Western New Mexico. Right now, Western New Mexico is in 3rd place in the women's team competition.
Now we're headed 13, Charbonnet, long birdie putt, trying to get back to 1 over.
And this one comes up and over a ridge and will try to work its way left to right late. First part of that putt is to hit it. Didn't check that box. We talked about Michael Jordan, and it's one of my favorite golf stories, and we'll get to it in just a second as we see Gibbs for birdie. So she can get it to the hole. But JR, you had a chance to play with Michael Jordan. I recall an Instagram post or live where you were leaving the golf course saying, man, I just played with my idol. How was playing with Michael Jordan?
Man, it was amazing. You know, he's such a competitor, but obviously, you know, everybody knows the competitiveness, but he's such a great dude. You know, he'll give you the shirt off his back. He talks to you, gives you so much information about life and business. And one thing I can say about him, he's really one of those guys that you can look up to as a big brother and get really good advice. And just, you know, sometimes you meet people that, you know, that you look up to and they don't live up to that expectations. But for him, to me, he lives up to it every single time.
Which Jordans was he wearing?
Every time I've seen him, he had a different pair on. And it's funny because every time I've seen him, the pair he's had on, I've never seen before. So, it sounds about right. I mean, I would do the same if I was him.
Kendall Jackson has this putt for a birdie.
And might have got some good information from Samantha ahead of her. Certainly going to move left around the hole and back up into the green and uphill. So I think you could play this putt with some pace.
Well, she played it with some pace. That was a good roll. Kendall Jackson was going after it. Kendall Jackson right now at +1 is just one off the medalist.
If there's one thing that really impresses me about Kendall is you know, how consistent her stroke is. She is always in the proper frame of mind, and her stroke is solid.
Up to the tee at 17. This is Kristen Graybo from Texas A&M Kingsville. Well, the coach shooting from behind. We saw it happen yesterday, and
Burko.
Oh, that would have been too perfect if that would have went in with the coach behind you, iPhone in hand. Way to go, Kristen Graybo. What a shot.
That would have had everybody yelling Javelinas.
Let's go back to 12.
I would have yelled it for sure.
Trinity Ahing now for her birdie at the 12th.
Very quick putt breaking down towards the water. Just be careful with the pace here.
Oh, look at that. Buckets for Trinity Ahing.
Hey, what? Every time the ball's going in the hole, we're seeing a little fire here from Ahing. Rightfully so right there. Pick up the birdie at 12.
Ahead to 13, Lucy Charbonnier for par to stay at 2 over.
These are the ones you need for your round's momentum.
Well, let's not forget, guys, she's playing in her final collegiate event. Now, Austin Shoemaker trying to save his par at the 6th.
Well, he's been 3 for 3 for these long up and down attempts, but I think that's come to an end now. And
that's going to put him at +3 on his round today and 1 over for the championship.
A mistake was made off the tee there, Justin.
But his team still has a 5-shot lead. But as Doug Smith said, it's like the stock market. You better watch it.
Short.
We're back in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Day 2 coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by Chase Sapphire. Ideal conditions, a warm one, low 90s. The breeze not quite as up as it was a day ago, but still a steady 5 to 10 miles per hour. This afternoon, we head back to the par 3 here, tee box with our featured group, and Kendall Jackson getting ready to go.
Steve, it's not the most difficult hole location on the green, but it's very difficult to get it close to. There's some flat area around this flag, certainly if you're long right and over the green, but to get it where it is, man, you have to be so pinpoint. That wind in their face from 146. So I think if you're going to make a mistake here, it's actually better to make it long, because then you're pitching back uphill.
A bit of a reset there for Kendall.
Well, she's certainly aiming right, maybe trying to hook it and then hold it up against the breeze. As that wind's strong, just won't let it turn. Good shot, though.
Yeah, no harm done there by Kendall. Standards are high for that young lady. She expects a lot of herself, and rightfully so. Extremely talented. And trying to propel Howard just a little bit closer as we take a look at the women's team leaderboard here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by Kohler. Howard there solidly in second, trying to catch the 3-time defending champs from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. But if you're tuning in for the first time, a 10-shot lead in college golf is nothing. 4 counting scores, 5 players out. So a couple of birdie bogey swings, Craig, and things can change in quite a hurry as we watch Medina.
Yeah, a grad student, and yeah, you're right. There is a lot of danger lurking.
Oh, gosh.
She's just fighting a golf swing right now. Got a miss in both directions going. That's tough to deal with around this track.
I feel like, Craig, each hole requires a very specific shot, and it's designed by Pete Dye. You might cut one off the tee, but you're going to have to draw one into the next shot. And right here, try to play that draw and just kind of got the club a little bit underneath, left the face open.
Keep it right here with Trinity Aheng.
Yeah, Doug and Steve, it's certainly a complicated test, and when you don't have a lot of knowledge, it's even more frightening. But as I mentioned, the distance here, 146, wind in their face. Yeah, I really like the way Trinity plays. She's playing with a lot of motion, and she's sort of carrying it forward. It's fun to watch, actually. I know the significance of this event. She's showing it. A little pull cut, and it cuts enough. It should be good. Yeah, again, that flatter ball flight, just tough to stop. Not too difficult to pitch from back up over there because you're pitching back uphill.
You talk about how flat that was. Didn't even get it near the wind. Just cut right through it. Bounded over the back. She's going to have some work cut out for her.
Let's head over to 17. Short while ago, we saw the tee shot of Kristen Grayboe. Had designs on an ace, but how about the 2? Another story heading back to college. Way to go, Kristen.
You think that matters?
Look at it. Look at that smile. Coach, I did it. It's really what it's all about, JR. Whether you play 16 years in the NBA as you did, or being part of a college golf team, the camaraderie amongst all the players and coaches.
100%. The camaraderie is what you really hold on to after the time is done and you're long gone and your career's over. You really think about the players you play with, the relationships you build, and you spend so much time with people on these bus rides. You spend so much time in the dorms and on the road and the practice greens. You really gain a bond that's like no other.
Samantha Gibbs, that tee shot at 13, trying to help her team build up a little more camaraderie and extend their lead here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship.
We had DJ Skills out. We had DJ Skills out here today, and there was a lot of music going on, and I definitely think we made golf cool for them today.
Just get excited!
To come here to play at TPC Sawgrass, where they host the Players Championship at every year, and it's great to see what these kids have access to now.
Let me see your dance moves. 1, 2.
We had 3 local nonprofits here trying to get kids involved in the game.
Boom. Hey, you're hitting it straighter. That's all that matters.
And for them to come out here, they may not know what this place means to them right now, but I think as they get older and they continue in golf, they can look back on this experience and be like, wow, I got to go to Sawgrass. I got to be with PGA members. I got to get instruction from the PGA pros here. For it to be part of the PGA WORKS Championship, I think is a great benefit.
Better, see?
To be able to introduce the game of golf to them, I think just the sky's the limit.
It's always so great to see kids get involved with the game of golf at a young age and what it can do. And again, Doug, the job that you and Will Lowry have done all week long here with the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championships, getting these kids involved. Kudos to you guys, because as JR knows, I mean, that's the key to everything. Get the kids involved early.
This is second at 13 for a hang from over the green. Nicely played there, Craig.
Yeah, it was, and you can pitch it into the upslope there. That was very nicely done.
You know, I just appreciate all the ancillary things that the PGA of America puts on to really introduce game to folks that wouldn't see it otherwise. And that was Clay Meyer featured right there. He's the head pro at the park down in West Palm Beach, and he's involved as anybody out here.
That's Lucy Charbonnier's third. Wow, spins it out of the bunker. And JR, you play a lot at that club that Clay is at, and what can you say? It's not a club, it's a public course that is almost like a club.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. It's one of those places that seems like a country club, but it's not. It has a great vibe. The family comes out. I bring my dog all the time. Lights up the part 3 from like 9 to 10 during the week, and it's just a great atmosphere. And Clay does a great job with making everybody feel welcome and helping everybody grow the game. And he's took a couple dollars off me on the course. It's okay. Clay, I'm coming for you. I'm getting it back.
Yeah, there's time to get that back. And how about Kendall Jackson? Birdie there at 13. Looks like she's on a mission, Doug. All business.
Well, I told you back at, I think they were on the 9th hole. I said she can get one to fall at 11. We might see her make a couple and reel off a few. And we've seen just that. Already 2 birdies on this back 9. And as we go back and take another look, Berkeley, you think that means something? She is all business.
Means everything. Kendall Jackson and Howard trying to make a charge as we head over to 7. Shoemaker getting ready to go.
He's got the guns out now too, Justin.
Hey, it's warm out there. You got to show. You got to show off.
Tell you, tried to hit a big swing and cut, and we talked about it earlier. The ball just doesn't curve like it used to, and might bite him right there. Already dropped a shot in the last.
All right, make our way back to the green at 13. Some par putts remaining, Craig.
Yeah, Chelsea had missed the green well right and used the contour of the land to her advantage, and this would be a wonderful 3. Should move to her right around the hole.
Did just that, so Chelsea Medina going to give one back at 13. And Craig, when you go back to 2002, when you won the Players Championship at this part of the golf course on Sunday, where did you stand? How aware were you of what still needed to be done, ultimately getting the job done with those final 3 holes?
Yeah, it sort of brings goosebumps, actually, Steve. It was electric through here. I'd missed a really short putt on the 12th, and then I made a long one down the hill for birdie here, and I knew 14 and 15 was going to be the catapult to get me to that closing stretch. So, you know, I'm not sure I ever thought that I would win the Players Championship, but I knew if I could just continue to play, you know, put it in the right spot, play strategically smart, take advantage of the 16th hole, I might have a chance. I never dreamed of the finish that I eventually would have, but there was a lot of emotion, a lot of electricity through this part of the golf course, and I think that's what even some of these young ladies now are feeling, being on this venue right now.
3-putt bogey for Samantha Gibbs there at 13, and you shared with us earlier in the week, and I think worth revisiting, the sense of calm you had coming down the stretch.
Yes, Steve, it was, I was more nervous trying to make cuts, and, you know, I was in control, I think, emotionally, and maybe I was destined. You know, it was, I was playing well leading up to it. I played with Tiger on Sunday at Doral 2 weeks earlier and handled myself magnificently, and, you know, it was a pretty magical finish, but there was a sense of calm in all the chaos that I had never, ever felt on the golf course, and probably hadn't felt since. So, like I said, maybe it was just destiny.
Hang with a bogey there at 13. She'll give one back. We head over to Shoemaker, his 3rd at 7. It's off the rails a little bit for Austin the last couple of holes.
He really hadn't had the irons dialed in like he would like. Now the short game on full display. And Burko, he's back in that range where I feel like he's lived since we picked up our coverage of him on the 3rd.
Yeah, he's got a chance to save his par. Again, opened with 68 on Dyes Valley yesterday in the opening round as we go to 14.
This is Lucy Charbonnier. We saw her 3rd shot out of the bunker, able to spin it to here, and has this now to save her par. And again, you're thinking about the team competition. Her team, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, currently a 10-shot lead.
I never started that high enough, but you look at her round right now. Even par on this round. Opened up yesterday at Dyes Valley, 3 over 75, but she's playing some solid golf. Now dropped a shot, so she's 1 over. All the drama in the last 2 holes.
Now, she's from France. Is that still considered a French braid or just a braid?
I think we should just take this to commercial, Justin. I'm not going to touch that one.
It's food for thought as we come back after this for the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championships.
Back to the green at 7. Austin Shoemaker trying to save par.
7 birdies yesterday. Burko at Dye Valley has not made one today, and motors this one by the hole. I'd like to see him put some change on this, though.
After a double at 6, in with bogey at 7 in the team leaderboard. Men's Division 2 gets closer and closer. Lincoln University, just a 1-shot lead at the moment over Bluefield State. We go to 14.
And that's Kendall Jackson on the tee.
Yeah, this wind just pretty much left to right, and this fairway runs out. There's a bunker through the fairway here that might be in play.
Haven't seen her hit that shot. Likes to work the high towering draw, but try to hit that little low fade right there.
And the women's championship, Texas A&M Corpus Christi leading by 11 over Howard. Again, 5 players per team, 4 scores count.
Green at 17. Elsa Tornval from Texas A&M Corpus Christi. All about the speed from there, and well judged.
Perfectly judged. There's 2-3 feet of break in that putt, and that was well judged.
Mind if I put my yardage book down?
Just put it right there.
Okay. Here's Gibbs at the 14th.
Yeah, this is another really low one here. And again, I believe that bunker is going to be.
Oh, that hit a tree and it went straight to the right. It's on a mound right now.
Greg, I don't think I saw that one coming. As we take another look at this ricochet off the side of this palm. It's caught the right edge and threw it directly 90 degrees right.
If it were baseball, that would be a home run off the foul pole, but unfortunately, we're playing golf.
I didn't think you'd get your sports confused today, Justin.
On the tee at the par 3 8th is Austin Shoemaker trying to rebound right now, trying to recover.
I just need him to hit a driving range shot. JR, sometimes you just got to go back to what you do that works well. Put one in the middle of the green, 2-putt, give yourself a chance at a 2.
I was going to ask you, when you're playing in a tournament, you got things, you're in the lead and you got things going a little left or right. You're not too confident, but you're playing well enough to stay in the mix. What do you go to? Do you try to find something that you worked on in the range? Do you hang your hat, or do you just keep it loose and try to play through it?
Well, one thing, you got to get your wits back about yourself. I ran hot, so I always had to figure out a way to calm down. So I'd walk, look at tops of trees, try to think of anything but golf, maybe chat up my playing partners. As this is a good-looking draw right here off the right side, and do whatever I could to take my mind off the game and just hit some driving range shots. Work on the tempo. Just get your heart rate down, because for me, the cortisol gets to spiking and I go all over the place. But driving range, hit your number, green, par, let's move on.
Now Ethan Alexander on the tee.
CJR had his notebook out right there. You saw that?
Oh, yeah, he was taking notes. No doubt about it.
I got to get ready for next season.
Oh, for sure.
So how many? You have one more year left?
One more year. Next year, I'm not sitting here with you. I'm going to be out there.
All right, good. Deal. Done.
I heard it here.
We're going to book it. By the way, next year it's going to be at Whistling Straits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I might be in here.
Robert Johnson, a thoroughbred out of Kentucky State.
Yeah,
Is that a club twirl?
It was. They
double glove.
Juniper Hills. They're in Frankfort, Kentucky. Tell you what, the number was misjudged here by 3 of the 4. Got the Louis belt on. I didn't say Louisville. I know we're going to there next week for the PGA Championship, but that is the Louis Vuitton belt. I don't know about the blue with the school colors, but I appreciate the drip right there.
Potential NIL deal, perhaps.
This is Samantha Gibbs from off the bank of the hill.
Just in about all she had from over there. Such a severe downslope. Advanced it towards the green. It's about all she could have hoped for.
Trying to minimize the damage at the moment.
You know, we say it on pretty much every golf broadcast about fairways and greens, but Craig, this might be one of the widest fairways back in the landing, you know, on the property. To see these players force it all the way up, seems like they selected the wrong club.
Well, it is a generous two-tiered fairway, but it actually plays really narrow because you've got to get up on the high side. And, you know, the ladies, the 369 and with the helping breeze, it certainly required less than driver. 126 here for Trinity. Very nice line, the bunker. The problem, you've got to get it up and over this body of trees pretty quickly. You try and elevate something out of the bunker, you have a tendency to hit it heavy. Yep, she decided to go conservatively, and I don't mind that at all. Short right is not a bad place to miss this green, get the ball up and down over there.
Yeah, not a lot of water in front of her, but still enough to make you aim off.
And after seeing that, now Kendall Jackson.
A huge break not to go in the water. So this is her ball where it finished. I don't think with the severity of the line, the downslope, she can get it for green. I think she's just going to attempt to pretty much take it on the same line that Trinity did. Out to the right of the green should be just fine.
Perks, you chalk that up to be a mental mistake for Jackson to drive. Well, she tried the chippy cut driver off this tee.
Yeah, probably so. If you're going to hit driver, you have to take it down the right, and that it's only about 10 or 12 yards wide over there. And the camber and the tilt of the fairway, nothing was in her advantage. She's been hitting some irons off tees that have been going a long way down there. So I'm not sure why you hit driver. But again, you've made a mistake off the tee, maybe strategically. Don't compound the error. Just try and get it back in play and use your short game to your advantage.
Perks, it looks like she's having some trouble just getting the proper footing.
Yeah, I would agree. And again, with the thickness of this rough and the coarseness, stickiness, just trying to get it, advance it, pretty much to get it over the sand in front of her. If she can get it on green grass and shortly closely mown green grass, it would be excellent.
Again, just going through, looking like she has her shot in her mind, then getting
Yeah. I thought she might take the shoe off, Justin.
And these rules have changed so much. She's in the penalty area, but obviously you can ground your club and do those things that you need now. But
uh-oh, you don't want to go all the way in the water.
Be careful.
She just got under it.
Yeah, I think with her footing, she decided to take the shoe off quickly, and then maybe things start to spiral out of the control mentally and really not focus on what she was doing. And I think that's the result of that shot.
So now what we have is her coach actually just said, all right, where's the point of entry? Where can we go back to? Where would we drop from? But she'd be hitting now her fourth shot.
I'd say one of the options she also had was just to, well, she could have dropped because she was in the penalty area.
Right.
But she also could have just played back toward the fairway. Back toward the tee box, I should say. But Parks, it didn't seem like the lie was that tough as we listened in for a second.
No. So we're going to just a normal penalty release or breaking the crop. So a crop right here. Let's say the crop is here. You're going to get your two club lines. You're going to probably drop the ball here. You can drop on the grass. How far can she go back there? Well, if you wanted to go back on back with the line, you could go up that way.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Yeah, we're going to keep the point, which is here.
You're talking the very corner.
And we're going to go at the very corner towards the red stake. Let's see what that looks like.
Farther right than that. Right on the corner.
You sure if this is the skip here? You see the skip?
Go. This is where it crosses.
Yeah, it's skip. You showed me the skip right here. That's the
Here's
line.
the divot.
But you said the last place it crossed.
It had a cross right here.
That's what I just said, yeah. The skip, the line is here, and it went down. The divot is just from the shot in the hazard. So where it last crossed the line was the first shot off the tee, not the shot in the hazard.
I understand, sir.
Right.
The ball crossed right here.
Absolutely, with the skip. And
So
you keep this corner.
you're going to take the flag
Exactly.
to this corner.
Right, that's right. Yeah, that's what we said. Like I said, at the red stake.
Probably right of it.
Okay, a little right of the red stake. He'll make the call.
Right where she's standing.
Yeah. You like that? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. Can you hit it over the trees? You can go back as far as you want to. You can get over the trees.
You know, in this
It has to be
predicament,
dropped right on the line.
That's exactly
you can
right.
drop outside the hazard with 2 club
You
links.
have to
no
drop
closer
it,
to
he
the
said,
hole.
on the line. That's
On the
right.
line.
They're taking point of entry and line of the flag and going back. You can go
Like
back
that?
to infinity on that
Right.
line. And Craig, she's electing to take the option of the point of entry and the line of flag, but in this scenario, that's going to put her right in the corner of where this fairway turns.
It's the best possible scenario. There were no other good scenarios. She could have taken that semicircle from where the penalty area began, and you'd be dropping in the bunker. So to get back on grass and far enough back that she can get up. And I think just the conversation maybe has allowed Kendall to maybe slow the mind down and clear the mechanism a little bit after that such a poor shot from the penalty area.
Craig, oftentimes, we're used to seeing players have their caddies right next to them and they can talk things through. Obviously, Kendall has her coach right next to her, but not being able to find that comfortable stance on her previous shot. Is that when you start to say, like, yeah, maybe, obviously hindsight's 20/20, but should the coach try to speak her through all the situations, or the caddy, and have her drop here as opposed to now hitting her fourth?
No, I think it was Kendall's decision, and she felt like she could advance it. I think they're taking the shoe off and doing it so quickly sort of thrusts things out of control a little bit. Should kick left down the hill, and there you go, got a chance to make a bogey.
Wow.
Beautiful shot.
Great recovery right there. So after all that, she'll have a chance to make a bogey. So we go back to the 8th, and this is Austin Shoemaker for a birdie for a bounce back.
Much needed birdie for Shoemaker.
Oh yes, little fist pump too. After a double, then a bogey, he comes back with a birdie with one more hole to play as he is even for the championship, 4 over on his round today. Welcome back as we take a look at the women's leaderboard here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by Chase Sapphire. Texas A&M Corpus Christi going for a 4-peat, leading by 9 at the moment. But again, we've been watching Kendall Jackson as she has got a bogey putt coming up, but let's go to 15 first.
Where we pick up her teammate, Morgan Harrell, putt on the way.
It's got the right pace. Is it the right line?
Now we make our way back to the 14th green. Justin Kutcher with Doug Smith, Steve Burkowski, Craig Perks, and special guest analyst in the booth is J.R. Smith, who is a current college golfer, a former NBA player. And JR, you actually brought your putter into the booth.
That's how bad he is.
I mean, you really have the golf bug.
Yeah, I got it bad. I got to figure out how to stop 3-putting, man. You know, once I figure that out, I'll start. I'll feel better about my game. I won't have to bring a putter around everywhere with me.
This is Chelsea Medina now with the bogey. Having some trouble here on this stadium course today.
I'm not going to tell many people, but you know, the night before tournaments, my putter would have a pillow next to me in the hotel room, and that's how we got along, man. You know, got to give it some respect.
At 15, Lucy Charbonnier slides that one in for bogey. So while Howard finding a little bit of a rough patch, so too the Islanders. 3 straight bogeys for Lucy.
So now back to Samantha Gibbs, Charbonnier's teammate. And Gibbs right now has a chance to make up. Kendall Jackson has this putt for a bogey.
And no question this golf course tests you mentally and physically emotional. And maybe, Doug, to your point, maybe not the correct choice of clubs off the tee, and she really paid dearly for it.
Still not in, waiting for a putt for a double bogey, and this will be for Gibbs. Trying to save her par.
Yeah, coming off the 3-putt on the previous hole, it really wasn't the best of breaks. Clipping off that tree and going well to the right. She looks so solid through 12 holes. This one going to fall left.
Oh, bounced right off the blade. Not sure if that was a spike mark, Perks, that it hit, but ball took flight as soon as she made contact.
Doug, we can blame spike marks, but you can tap them down now. So and maybe it was just how the ball reacted to the putter face.
By the way, do these players even know what spikes are?
That's a good point.
You think about how old they are. They haven't had spikes around in that long. Trinity Ahang trying for her par.
Yeah, I know 18 gets all the notoriety, but this to me is the toughest par 4 at the stadium course, and this would be a wonderful 4 where she drove it.
Tell you what, Pete Dye giveth and taketh away. And looking at the leaderboard right here in the women's team division, as far as medalist honors, Kendall Jackson going to drop to 2 over par. This putt does fall, Perks, and you know, with Gibbs dropping a shot there, there's a lot of things getting mixed up at the top of this leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what's transpiring right now. Kendall Jackson has a putt for a double bogey, which would put her to +2. Trinity Ahang at +4. There is the double for Kendall Jackson. And obviously, these players are more concerned about the team competition than the individual medalist honors. However, the medalist honors, it's getting tight. You've got Samantha Gibbs here. Now, this for a bogey, and this is no sure thing. Back of the cup, she's in. She drops a shot. She falls to +2. The stadium course not playing easy today here at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championships.
We're back to day 2 coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship presented by Kohler. And those youngsters, no issues today. They're just hanging out, enjoying this day. The golfers, a completely different story.
But those youngsters like the water.
Oh, well said, Justin. Let's go out to the tee at 17, the par 3. And we've been promising the potential of an ace. We're hoping for one. Maybe Lexi Klemke from western New Mexico can provide us with a bit of drama.
Well, if she's going to do so, this needs to either go up the hill and come down or
settle.
Well, that's going to bounce off the bulkhead. No, I like when you hit it long on this tee because you don't see it go in the water. It feels better.
Over at 9, second on the way for Ethan Alexander from Chaminade. Hang in there now.
The ball doesn't know where to go, Burko.
It will settle eventually. I do promise you that. Now back over to the tee at 17. Lucia Ramirez from Texas A&M Corpus Christi will follow it with our Top Tracer technology presented by Chase Sapphire. What do you think, Doug? Easier or harder for a lefty with this whole location?
Oh, I love it for a left-handed player. You can hit like a little draw, hold something off, hole cut only 8 paces from the front edge.
Now spin.
A little bit of a ridge right there. Oh, she's tipping right on the bottom of it, but I'll take that.
Good shot there. Good look at birdie, and take a look at the coaching connections here this week at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. PGA coaches here this week, and Doug, it's instrumental as you look at Pat Stevens, the head women's golf coach for Corpus Christi, the development of these young men and women here this week. This could be the next step for their continuation in this game.
Well, I just love seeing, you know, all the names with Quincy Hurd down at Alabama State, but you look at Scooter Clark, PGA professional, who was the tournament director of this event last few years, now JR's coach, and we'll get back out to the action quickly with Kendall Jackson on the tee.
Straight downwind here, Doug. And that fairway is going to run out pretty quickly for Kendall. I like that play. That might have been the club of choice on the previous tee if she rethinks it, but well done there. The composure is wonderful.
Keep it right here at 15 with Gibbs. Also appears to be less than driver, Craig.
Yeah, there's a lot of visual spice off this tee when you get the back tee for the men, but you know, move it forward. It's still a challenging tee shot. The bunker down the right angles away from the fairway with the downwind. It's one you want to shape if you can from left to right, but it's less than driver, then it widens out back there. It's a good one from Samantha.
You know, with our visual, Craig, from the back of the tee box down the line looking towards the hole, Pete Dye does such a good job of hiding the landing area, and it's hard to see from that camera shot we just had, like, where the correct line off the tee was.
And back at 17 with Josefina Rendo from North Carolina Central.
Got that helping breeze, Burko. You have to play that front edge number.
Settle now.
That is going to be the fastest putt on the property.
Someone figured it out about 23 years ago from that spot. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it was better than most, wasn't it?
Who was that guy?
Never heard of him.
Now we make our way to 9. Austin Shoemaker wrapping up here at the par 5. And Justin, you touched on the fact that he shot 68 yesterday, first round for him at Dyes Valley. Go back to April, he shot 66 at Railwood Golf Club in Holtz Summit, Missouri. So here's a young man, Doug, not afraid to shoot something in the mid to high 60s.
Oh, that's why you can also tell he's running a little hot, knows the talent that he possesses, and well, he's hit some wayward shots, able to get the bounce back at the previous hole in the 8th par 3. And you know, the tee shot here is difficult. You have to make sure you cheat one up the left side, and the layup, Burko, is equally difficult, but he's in prime position right here to throw something in there tight. Has to land this on the upslope, though.
Helpful that he's just off the fairway, maybe?
No, I think so, given the fact that you can't land this on the surface.
Carries that one just bit deeper than you were looking for, Doug. Long birdie putt upcoming.
You get lured in, trying to fly it on the green here at Sawgrass.
At the 16th, Lucy Charbonnier trying to go for this green in 2. Back-to-back medalist. Look at this. Here she is now, right now, 3 off the lead for the medalist to go for the three-peat. Her team has won 3 in a row, looking for 4 in a row. And she just put it in that position here at the 16th. So Lucy Charbonnier certainly not out of it. Her Texas A&M Corpus Christi teammates lead by 10 as this second round is winding down at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship.
Just a simple line of ball, just pushing everything right. You still
We're back to the fairway at 15. Samantha Gibbs, her second.
128, Steve, and straight downwind to a front hole location. And the very front part of the screen is pitched back towards us. So if you carry it short, it won't jump off. You land it on, it might take a huge bounce. Tough to get this one close.
Well, she's a finance major. We'll see if she can dial in the number.
There's that firm bounce, Doug.
You said it, Purse. I'm still surprised how hard that bounced.
And just before that, it was Kendall Jackson.
Yep, 142. And again, can she stand up here in a good iron shot? Unfortunately, this drifting out to the right, Steve.
Yeah, so Doug, the past couple of holes, we've seen some shots we don't normally get from Kendall Jackson. Now a hang coming out of the thick stuff left.
Very heavy lie. Man, it's the ball is nestled down. It's just so tough to control the club face out of that, Doug.
I'll tell you what, we were talking about with JR there in the last hour about how do you keep your kind of wits about you, keep your head in the game. And JR, we're going to see a great lesson of that from Kendall Jackson the rest of the way in.
Up ahead to the 16th, Shondine Harper, the junior from Western New Mexico. All right, on line. Oh, look at that. Oh. We'll have a tap in for the birdie.
Green at 9. Shoemaker, long birdie putt, wrapping up his second round.
Longer putt than we thought he'd have. That'll singe the edge.
Still a little bit of work remaining for Austin.
You know, thinking back through this round, Steve, he hasn't played bad golf. Really just hadn't had much go his way.
Now over to 16. Lucy Charbonnier has this putt from off the green for an eagle.
Big swinging putt up the ridge, then we'll try to work off of it.
And she is going to have a lengthy putt left for her birdie, which when you go for it in 2, you're pin high. The last thing you want is to grind over that birdie putt.
A bit unfortunate it got behind that knob, because now you're trying to gauge the speed of how hard you have to hit it up the ridge to get it to come down the other side.
Shoemaker for his par at 9. All right, so he's in. His day is done. Rounds of 68, 76. Austin Shoemaker even par heading into Championship Wednesday. And more importantly for Austin, his team in the lead, currently 4 clear of Bluefield State.
Sydney Renville, her birdie putt at the 16th comes up short.
Tell by Sid right there that this golf course can take not only a physical toll on you, but a mental one as well.
Yeah, you see her mark it, just walk away, try to regroup, look somewhere. And
Ethan Alexander finishing up at 9 as well, playing alongside Austin Shoemaker. So the men's division 2 shaping up to be a pretty good one heading into that final day. And Austin Shoemaker, we'll see if he can continue to lead Lincoln University of Missouri to a team championship. Ethan, 72-79, first couple of days here in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Now back at 15, that's a hang from the bunker.
Yeah, and that was wise, because you get right of this flag, it's going to fall off the green, and that's exactly where she was aiming. Maybe it released a little more than she expected, but sometimes around this golf course there's a lot of acceptance if you get in some of these tough spots.
But still the challenge for young men and women student athletes, Justin, to accept it, right? It's always that full go mentality.
JR, are you a guy who likes to try to get on in 2 on the par 5s?
Yeah, unfortunately. It doesn't really work out in my favor a lot of the times, but I'm definitely an aggressive player. I just feel like I can hit any shot, and then, I'm just going to have to prove myself that I can hit those shots.
What made you, first, besides golf, what made you decide to go back to school and choose an HBCU?
Another funny story, because I'm surrounded by my peers. Ray Allen is a great guy. He went back and got his master's and really inspired me over a golf trip we took to the DR, and just continuously challenged me to figure out ways to challenge myself throughout my everyday life. Trying to get better at every aspect of my life, opposed to just being an athlete or a basketball player. And for me, education was very important, and something that was a huge insecurity within me growing up, and something that I've never realized that I wanted to conquer.
Wow. So this is the men's division 2. That was Austin Shoemaker there in the scorer's tent, and Austin Shoemaker with Lincoln University has a 4-shot lead in the men's division 2 championship division. They have a chance to win it tomorrow, but they're going to have to hold off some schools. Bluefield State, Chaminade, Kentucky State, they're still certainly in it. Let's take a look at some of our ADT secure plays of the day. And Austin Shoemaker at the 5th had this putt for par. Oh yes, he was tested a lot. At the 8th for birdie.
Around got a little shaky at this point. Justin able to get that one to fall for birdie. Showed some light at the end of the tunnel.
And here he is signing the scorecards. And Austin Shoemaker is the only player in the men's Division II division that is at even or better through 2 rounds.
Let's go over to 15. Kendall Jackson just off the green with her third.
Very quick putt, Steve. Straight downhill and then pretty much downwind.
Perks, that had like 6 different breaks in it as it came down that hill.
She seemed to figure out pretty well there, Doug.
That a moment ago. Now live with Medina.
Much needed birdie.
And JR, we see a lot of the college coaches out there walking alongside their players. You just talked about education and the importance at this point of your life. You went from high school to the NBA, but your high school basketball coach has done pretty well, making the jump to college as well. How close do you stay with Danny Hurley?
Really close. You know, I went to the Big East Championship game to go see him. He's a great mentor of mine still, and he's put so much hard work in, like, you know, just laying the foundation in myself and so many others, and we carried a long way, and he's still doing that today with UConn. And unfortunately, he's asked me to go up there and play with his team a few times. I haven't made it up there. I told him if I get hurt, it's going to hurt my golf game. I'll be miserable.
Samantha Gibbs at 15, going to be a 3-putt bogey for her. Did you see what we all see now as they've gone back-to-back national championships when he was a high school coach? The fiery, competitive, going to do everything I possibly can to win when you were back there in New Jersey.
Yeah, 100%. And the one thing I really commend him on, he always stuck to his guns on what he said he was going to do and what wouldn't happen, no matter who it was. I remember I left campus one time to go get a haircut, and he benched me for the game. And it was we were playing a tough opponent, and he really didn't care no matter what. If we lost, it was going to be your fault, and if we win, we see what we could do without you. And he really set that precedent with everybody. So I think once you see that from a coach with a star player, it's so much easier to get everybody else to follow along and know that he's the true leader that he is.
Apple didn't fall too far from the tree when you consider what his dad, Bob Hurley Sr., did at St. Anthony.
No, not at all. The coaching styles was very dissimilar. The English language in the different dialects of Jersey City was very different.
How much of an impact did he have on your decision to go straight from high school to the NBA?
I mean, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be in this situation, honestly. I was trying to play football, and he really convinced me to stick with basketball. And if I trusted him, he would put me in a great position to live out my dreams. And now it's, 20 years later, and I've done that. So wow. I appreciate Coach Hurley.
Tee at 17, Morgan Harrell from Howard. Tee shot on the way.
At 6'6", go play basketball. All right, that's right on top of the plateau in the middle of the screen. Speedy little putt.
Well, I think it's neat that you mentioned Rashard Lewis was the player who got you started because of his charity event. Rashard Lewis, another guy who went straight from high school to the NBA. And it was Moses Malone who also had that whole transition, and he got you going in golf.
Yeah, it's crazy because for me, my closest friends all came out of high school.
Really?
Steven Jackson is one of my best friends. Al Harrington is one of my best friends. LeBron James, obviously. So it's something about the high school aspect of it that just drives us all close, I guess.
Take a look at Sean Dean Harper. Western New Mexico backs off at 17. To your statement from a short time ago, football, your love of golf now, how important is it for these youngsters, teenagers, maybe not even in middle school yet, to play multiple sports growing up and then figure it out a little bit later in life?
I think it's really changed the game astronomically for me, because my hand-eye coordination and being able to just jump into different atmospheres and be okay with feeling uncomfortable has really played to my advantages. Nowadays, I think the youth in sports are just focusing on one sport too early and not giving themselves a true chance to develop. I mean, there's so much into you need to be a specialist at 8 for whatever reason, and I just think that kids need to enjoy the sports that they play and figure out how much love they have for it throughout the process of just being a kid.
Well said. Sydney Renville. Now at 17, we see so much of that specialization, whether it's our own children or others, of, well, you got to do this now, and you forget they're kids. Go have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got 4 girls, and they're not into anything athletic, unfortunately, right now. You know, I've been trying. They got the size and everything else, but you can't push them. You know, you can't push them too hard. They'll run away from you. And for me, I just want my girls to keep coming back home.
4 girls at home for you. Wow.
Yeah.
Busy house.
Very, very busy house. You know, I'm very fortunate and blessed to be able to have these little girls who really continuously push me to be a better person every day. I know that they're looking up to me, and what they see is what they're going to want and later on in life, and I just try to give them the best example of what a man should be.
What a great shot by Lucy Charbonnet at 17, and the shot prior, Renville walking down that walkway, able to stay dry as we drop back 1.
On the tee here is Chelsea Medina.
Yeah, you got to challenge the left side here. Maybe not quite that much, but this tee shot right back into the breeze here, Justin and Doug.
Yeah, she definitely challenged that left side. A little bit too risque. Samantha Gibbs. It's pretty wild to think, but Tori Mouton won out way earlier. Posted a 73 today. +1, currently in the medalist position for the women's by 1.
And I think with Samantha here, Doug, and back into the wind, I think you've really got to make sure you find the fairway, because then you can play to your number for your 3rd. You get tangled up in the trees or the rough, you can bring 6 and 7 into play. Started down the right, trying to turn.
Stayed right up there, and again, another great hole. Even we're used to seeing it from 2 tees back. Parks as Kendall Jackson goes ahead and pegs it up, but it still feels like a tough shot to find a line on. We see the tree just right at 817 green out the distance. We have to go another 10 yards left of that.
Yeah, it's the genius of Pete Dye. And I really think Kendall has to challenge the drip line of the trees down left as far as she can hit it, because the camber of the fairways, it may look intimidating, but the camber of this fairway is going to move it back to the right. You challenge that left side and get that kick forward, she can have an iron to this par 5.
She hits it plenty high to take on that left side.
Certainly started left. It might be cutting. That's really good. It's just a soft bounce, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, but she should have the firepower to take on that front edge. You can land it -10 of this green and chase something up.
All right, let's head to 17. Sydney Renville. We saw the tee shot. Doug, find a way to stay out of the water, because it just sort of kept going and going. But this is not a bargain here either. JR, what if you're in this position that this young lady is? How are you playing the second? How fearful are you of what's behind you, about 6 inches behind that heel and a couple feet down?
Definitely down here in Florida, I'm really worried about what's underneath there. But for me, I think I'd probably putt this. I'd probably putt it up to the top and try to let it trickle down. Hitting the chip shot and blade it just seems way too probable for me. Maybe even a 3-wood or a hybrid just to get it rolling and hopefully hope for the best, honestly.
Got to get committed here, don't you, Doug? Among other things.
Committed to what? The stance, the shot? Oh, there's no more difficulty you can have on this hole than this shot. And what a break that she's got. She hasn't been having the best round, but You know, things looking up, but got to play one low, bump it in, because that can get real speedy in here.
In there now. Okay.
She's going to have to get creative again. But I appreciate the smile, though.
She'll have a story one way or another leaving the green here at 17. How will it play out? We will find out when we come back.
Such a beautiful look at this compound around the lake here at 16, 17, and then to 18 as we are at the 17th green.
Putt on the way for Morgan Horrell. Pace looks pretty good from there. And how about that result? Birdie 2.
Put that in the memory banks. Yeah, that is not an easy putt to read. Morgan dialing it in perfectly.
And Burko, that helps Howard a lot when you talk about the team competition.
Hanging around, staying within reach with 18 holes to go on Wednesday, and so much can happen. The moment, the pressure, the expectation for Texas A&M Corpus Christi to try to win 4 in a row, or can Howard take that next step up in their progression in just under 4 years as a D1 program? All right, so we know it can be made from here. See if Shondine Harper learned anything. Flagstick in, not a bad thing here, Doug.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't draw in school, but I could trace. I was a professional tracer. We'll see if she can trace this line down the hole. Looks like it's drifting low side. I always love seeing a player go right in front of me and try to put one right on top of them. Just the challenge of it.
She'll throw a coin, a little bit remaining. We drop back 1 to 16.
Second shot here for Kendall Jackson.
Yeah, 197 front, 211, and just decided to lay up, which is probably wise. Stay back far enough from that tree, and that's what she's done.
Surprising play there, Craig.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure the juice was worth the squeeze there. If you come out of it, you don't want to make 6 after such a good drive. You can still make 4 from where she laid it up from.
That was Renville, 3rd at 17.
You're good. Leave it. We're going that way.
You what?
We're going that way.
Okay, cool, bro.
As Renville looks at her putt, we go back to 16. And this is Medina.
Yeah, this is her third. Yeah, from 179 yards into the wind. Get a kick forward if you can get it.
She got the kick. Keep on rolling. Good recovery right there by Chelsea Medina.
The opportunity to get up and down from there. Very firm and flat. Right where she gets to pitch from.
All right, we're going to continue watching the ride, the up and down roller coaster of Sydney Renville here. This would just be a routine for her, right, Doug?
Yeah, absolutely. She can take the confidence away that she didn't hit it in the water. They have to use the drop area from 75 yards, so stood up quick, so that one slid low.
Well, I mean, she's got some spectators for her moving in her backswing.
Another one just popped up.
Yeah, I mean, how rude was that?
Extremely rude.
Have you played here before, JR?
Yeah, I played here back when Martin Keimer won. I played the next day, that Monday, and it was tough. I did birdie 17.
Well, you beat me to the punch. You see, J.R. Smith didn't say how I birdied 17. That's the first thing everyone has ever asked or talks about, and understandably so here at the stadium course. How nervous were you on that tee?
I was very nervous. I'm not gonna lie. After the tee shot, I was way more nervous on 18. I did hook 2 in the water.
All right, Charbonnet for birdie here at 17, trying to match what J.R. Smith did a decade ago.
It was that long ago, JR?
2014, and Keimer would go on to win the U.S. Open at Pinehurst a couple months later, which is where a bunch of us are headed in a few weeks' time.
I'm taking Burko to golf trivia with me.
We'll do okay.
That was tugged. Such a hard putt to believe. That's almost a cup out on the right and die pace. Crazy to believe that this hole was created at dinner with a big hole in the middle of the property, and Pete looked over at Allison and said, what should we do with it? She drew it on a napkin and said, here you go. This is what I think you should do.
Back a hole. Samantha Gibbs, her third.
115, a hole location very similar to yesterday. There's some open space there in front of it.
Oh, and a great line. Look at that. Samantha Gibbs again. This freshman is just playing so well, under control. Kendall Jackson now trying to recover. Samantha Gibbs, coming off 3 straight bogeys, has a chance for a birdie, and now Jackson, her third.
Yeah, 100 yards. That you may have to elevate it up and over that tree here, Doug.
We'll see what she chooses to do. She went upstairs.
Did it get caught?
That one stayed just short of the surface. Look at Burks to give us an update here.
You can see Kendall Jackson just looking up, realizing how she was blocked out a little bit. Now Trinity Ahing from North Carolina Central, her third.
Yeah, 82 yards. She actually just has to skirt the very edge of that tree. She could potentially hook it around it if she'd like, or bring something low, which she is very capable of doing. She's hung in there nicely today. Maybe not had the best striking today, but loves to grind. Oh, a little unfortunate that didn't spin back down the hill.
Sounded like it clipped some of that Spanish moss. I took a little spin off of that. Acceptable shot, though.
All right, so Kendall Jackson did clip the tree. This now her fourth from the bunker.
From breakfast. Looks like she's got the fried egg, Perks.
Yeah, you just have to be so defensive here. minimize the errors after the mistake, and that's really well done just to get to the front of the green.
Extremely impressive shot.
And the mistake was made on the layup, right?
She has made some club course management errors, you know, from our seat, Perks, and it seems like she and Coach Sam Perry they've talked about these shots. I'm still a little confused on some of the execution of it, but
Doug, it's one of the hardest layups in all of golf on this par 5, because you feel like now listen, she only had 210 to the flagstick, and you feel like you don't want to hit it 110 yards and have the same shot for the next. So I'm not sure she felt like she laid it up incorrectly, but she was surprised when she got there how quickly she had to elevate it.
Up ahead to 18 now, Sydney Renville from North Carolina Central.
to pick a tree, pick a target, and commit to it. Like the body got a little slow.
I'm with JR. I think this tee shot is so nerve-wracking, even more so than 18. I mean, more so than 17.
JR hit 2 in the water, so I know he don't want to play this overseas.
No, I do not.
But JR, having played the hole, what would your approach now be, knowing kind of what looms? Would you still hit the driver? Would you, play it out right, lay back?
I would probably play it a little further out right. I don't think I would hit driver. I've been hitting my 3-wood is my money club right now. I'm hitting my 3-wood about 270, so that's pretty much all you need on this hole. I think probably have a nice little 8, maybe 7 iron in. And, I don't think this hole is a necessarily birdie hole. I think it's a par hole unless you have to make birdie. So for me, I'm playing this for par.
Back to back, and you see Sean Dean Harper say, is there a drop zone? There's no real advantage because it never really got over land. Lucy Charbonnier, who missed that birdie opportunity at the 17.
I tell you, yesterday, when this whole pumping down wind, you could really take it on the line at the spire on the right side of the clubhouse. Just let it ride. And this is expected, honestly. You see 2 of your playing partners hit it out right.
Oh, that could be trouble. The Volunteers are over there trying to locate the ball. Now Kendall Jackson at the 16th from off the green. This for par.
It's a really difficult one to read. You see it get left of the hole, goes left. You get right, it never turns. So at least she looks as though she's got the speed correct.
Yeah, Kendall Jackson right now only 1 shot out of the medalist honor position held by North Carolina A&T's Tori Mouton. And wow, think about what her lead could have been, Justin, if she could have just righted the ship.
Emily Main from Howard has this putt for birdie at 18. And now that left for her par. Going with a Peter Malnati yellow ball.
Yeah, play yellow, man. Sometimes you just got to play yellow. Out in Phoenix, I'll tell you what, it's more of a strategy so you can find the ball in the desert.
Trinity Aheng has this. She has to come through the rough here for this birdie putt.
Yeah, through the fringe. You got to throw it left and then maybe going back right around the hole.
That was done well.
That was a good putt. Oh, yes, sorry.
Perks, be honest, is this course more demanding physically or mentally?
Emotionally as well. Give it 33% of each. Yeah, I think if you watch how Scotty Scheffler plays the game from an emotional standpoint, very peaceful, very accepting. It's a test. It's a torture test. And I think, yes, do you have to strike the ball well? Good putt there from Chelsea, but you better be sharp mentally. And I agree with Doug. I think you can be aggressive off some tees here and very conservative into hole locations. You watch Scheffler have success, and all the guys and the players that have had success, they never take flag 6 on the center of the green, because you get out of position on some of these greens. It's impossible to get the ball up and down.
You hear how Perks didn't add himself to that list as a past champion. Love the humility.
He's too
Perks.
humble. Now Jackson for a bogey. And she's able to save a bogey here at 16.
You know, that's a bad luck bogey, to be honest. I think she hit 2 good shots. Unfortunate that ball buried in the bunker, and you know, her last hour or so has been a little test of her mental, excuse me. But she's a fighter.
Samantha Gibbs hit that great shot in here. Now this for a birdie to get back to +2.
And she'd been reeling after the 3-putt at 13, misjudged the pace at 15, and that's a wonderful birdie.
So Gibbs, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, put one on the board. She gets back to +2. A&M Corpus Christi at +37. They've got an 11-shot lead.
We're back at the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship. Second round coverage continuing here on Golf Channel, and it is presented by ADT. A couple of groups remaining on the golf course. Our Marquee, one that we followed for much of this afternoon, has arrived on the tee box at 17. And Craig, who would have ever thought that you and J.R. Smith both did something special on this hole? You both made birdie when it mattered.
He's got some bigger trophies than I do, for sure. I was fortunate to make it 2 here. I certainly wasn't planning on it on Sunday, but it did make me a little pumped.
Hey, Perksy, I'm just wondering, the parade for you back home, did you have your shirt on or off?
I was mowing the lawn at 7:30 the following morning, just letting you know that. And fielding about 400 calls. I was my own agent. But it's a marvelous spot, and you know, I think more than anything, you get this Coliseum type atmosphere. It's one of the most renowned greens in all of golf, and can be electrifying, terrifying. It's a masterpiece for sure.
Well, don't forget tomorrow's coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship, which is the final round coverage, comes your way 3 p.m. Eastern right here on Golf Channel and Peacock.
All right, back to 17. Medina ready to go.
Yeah, 105 straight downwind, wind gusting. So really hard to get to that whole front hole location. Can use the backstop if you want.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, maybe JR can take Perks to a tattoo shop and get him a Players Championship tattoo somewhere on him.
I know a guy.
So, JR, you heard Craig Perks saying about 16 hours after winning the Players Championship, he was mowing his grass. What were you doing the following day after your 2 NBA championships?
I was at home having a few cigars and a couple of alcoholic beverages.
I thought you were going to say, honestly, I don't remember.
Oh, no. I remember fully. That's one thing about it. You know, winning the chip, you actually get to remember some of the celebration, I will say. I didn't go to sleep for a good 72 hours. So it was a long time.
Tee shot on the way for a hang.
And again, needs to get down. Yeah. The problem with this for the ladies is this angle is really tough. During the Players Championship, the drop zone's a little bit over here, and players hate coming over here because you're not playing with any space. You probably only got 3 or 4 paces on line with the flag from where the ladies are hitting from to that hole location. The men are actually got some space short and right and can use the contour of the green. So this is an awfully difficult shot, and then the firmness of the greens and straight downwind. Just get it on the putting surface.
See if Gibbs can figure it out.
Yeah, good distance right here. Yeah, that's excellent.
And Craig, we could see from behind that tee box of, to your point, 15, 20 feet left of the hole, hit it on the green. If you can make 2, great. You're not leaving with worse than 3.
No, that's right. And I think for Kendall, you know, making a couple of mistakes at 14 and 16, I don't think he'd be aggressive here. I think you take it right at Samantha's ball and try and make a 15-footer.
Well, if I know Kendall Jackson, I'll tell you what, she's trying to get out of here with an uno. Get 2 shots back.
Last chance to get one.
Doug, the problem is you try and make a 1, you can make a 5 pretty quickly. It might just get on the wrong side of the ridge, but I like that play. Perfectly hole high in the center of the green.
So the final group making it way to the green at 17 as we're winding down day 2 coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship.
We are back here. Second round coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship, presented by Kohler, Chase, and ADT. The famed 17th hole at TPC Sawgrass Stadium course, where our final group is. And this 17th hole, there are a lot of donations made to the water there, and when you make a donation, you go to the drop zone.
And Justin and Steve and Doug, a lot of options here. You could actually go back to the tee and re-tee, like actually put it on the tee. You can take it from the drop zone. If you actually wanted to, since it's yellow, you could go where she hit it over the green and go over the water to the backside. I'm not sure that's the right play, but I would actually go back to the tee to put it back on a tee and not just drop it on the turf. But this is obviously Trinity's decision, and a third shot and a difficult one straight downwind.
We've seen some close shots from this drop zone burst today.
75 yards. You better land it short of the hole.
Yeah, we saw Kylie Leaf do that, hit it to about 2 or 3 feet. Was able to get out with a 4. So
really good there, Steve.
Yeah, it is. Smart play. Get it on the green there. And give yourself a look. Craig talks about it so much, you know, as a player's champ. Minimize the damage, Doug. When you make a mistake, and we've seen Kendall Jackson and others have moments where sometimes you just have to think a little differently. I think it's one of the biggest challenges, you know, we'll see with these talented young men and women. And JR, get your thoughts on it. You don't have to be a hero. Sometimes you just say, get out, you got more golf to play.
Yeah, especially in the team aspect of it. You try to make the lowest number you can, try to keep the big numbers off the card. That's why, for me, mainly, is just hitting center of the greens and just try to get out of there with 2-putt pars.
Now, would you have played that way when you were 18 years old?
I don't play that way when I'm 38. I tried to play that way the other day and it didn't work. So it's just a nonstop work in progress, man. Just being confident with whatever you pick and just being able to live with it.
I also feel, too, that this is almost like a live practice round for the final. Look, this is probably a lot of players' second look at this golf course, playing this hole for the second time outside of the initial practice round. You go off in a shotgun where everybody's on the course at the exact same time. And Persh can speak to this. I don't think, I mean, look, it's just tough to be 100% prepared for all that you might see when you only get one lap around this ballpark.
Yeah, and I think
this is Charbonnier, Lucy Charbonnier for bogey at the 18th, so she has that for a double bogey. We saw her tee shot go into the woods right, and so the back-to-back medalist in the women's division looks like she'll drop 2 more at 18.
That's going to get things a little bit closer in that team competition for the ladies that will wrap up tomorrow. Now Medina for bogey here at 17.
Just feed it down the hill. Everything will fall to the right. I think, Doug, to your point, you can be in awe once you step on this property. And sometimes it's hard to think clearly.
Oh. Had the pace, had the line, and then just snapped across the hole the last 1.5 feet.
Craig, that's a really good point as far as being in awe, stepping on property. When you go to play some amazing courses, and these men and women are getting the chance to play some of the best courses, how do you mentally block that out and say, you know, I'm just here to play golf. It doesn't matter where I am. I'm just playing golf.
Yeah, it's really tough to do that. And in this significant of a championship, just trying to lock in and focus. This one's swinging so much to the left and quick.
Yeah, that's Kendall Jackson, who's going to have the better part of 6 or 7 feet remaining for her par.
You know, Wyatt Worthington, who, you know, made it in last week at the PPC. Justin, you were on the call for that. I played in the U.S. Mid-Am in 2016 at Stonewall, just outside of Philly, and I remember missing the match play, and he was like the first or second person I called. He said something that will always stick with me. To your point, he said it's just golf. It's just golf.
Here's Lucy Charbonnier trying to finish up with a double bogey at 18. Oh no, and this is not a sure thing for a triple. Again, with the women's team element, Corpus Christi in the lead, but Charbonnier all of a sudden brings Howard back into it.
Yeah, the advantage is going to be at least 3 closer. Charbonnier still work to do as we take a look at a Hing trying to get out of the 17th with 4.
It would be a wonderful 4, and probably got a lot of information watching Kendall's go down the hill.
I'll tell you what, Charbonnier, she's going to count. Also, Tornval didn't have the best day for the team game, so this, whatever she makes on the final at 18, it could really change the complexion of this team competition.
But team golf is just that. Her teammate Gibbs with birdie, so you offset. It goes up, it goes down.
Hard to throw this out high enough here.
Oh, it looks good. Just stop turning, Craig.
Yeah, that was a really good effort. You see so many players in the Players Championship underread that. So it was a wonderful putt there from Samantha.
You talk about the emotional aspect of this golf course and what it can take from you. If you're these young men and women leaving the stadium course today knowing 18 holes remaining, how can you regroup and reset in such a quick turnaround?
Yeah, I think you take pride in that you're playing in such a significant event at a wonderful venue. You've talked about how much they love the grind and go out and compete. I think you just get ready for tomorrow and embrace the opportunity.
Charbonnier in with triple at 18. Kendall Jackson, good 2-putt par there at 17.
That putt by Kendall Jackson, that's a big putt to save her par with Charbonnier making triple. All of a sudden, that gap will be narrowed.
9 at the moment.
Now a Hing for 5.
Just carry enough pace here, Steve, and play it inside the hole.
There you go.
I feel like this hole, Craig, and correct me if I'm wrong, for some reason I feel like it plays easier in the morning. Maybe it's the expectation. If you have a later tee time, it plays easier in the morning than it does in the afternoon.
Yeah, and I think maybe in May, the 12 years I had it in May, the wind would pick up downwind, the green dries out. I know that when I played this championship, as soon as I got on the 10th tee, I was thinking about this shot, so it can wreak havoc on your mind for sure.
Chelsea Medina in with double.
So wait a minute, Perksy, you were legit thinking about the tee shot for 17.
100%.
Wow.
I remember I teed off 10 on Thursday morning, and I'm already looking at the whole location at 17. Friday I was playing well again, making the turn. I asked my caddy Travis, where's that whole location? And all the way down 16, you're just looking over at 17. So it can absolutely play with your mind.
Gibbs for par.
Yeah, it's a wonderful 3.
Yep, solid 2-putt for Samantha Gibbs. So that final group heading to the last. We will bring them home to the finish on day 2 of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship.
We're back. It's just about dinner time. Coming up on 6:15 local time in the East. And here on the tee, Kendall Jackson with driver.
Yeah, this has to turn left or she's going to run out of space with the breeze over her right shoulder.
It's in the pine straw, and I was really wondering what she would take off this tee. Here's now Trinity Ahang also with driver.
Well, I left my brain in the bayou, remember?
Yes.
Justin, I hit driver. So the wind down from the right, and as Pete Dye asks us all to do, you have to challenge the water to make that second a little easier. And with driver, I think he can take it right over the bulkhead.
Kept it low, and that will run out to the edge of the fairway.
Now she can exhale.
Not yet. She still has to worry about water again on the second. Part one done. Now Chelsea Medina.
In the turn in the dog leg, Justin and Doug, they're framed by 6 or 7 trees. And I think you just focus on which tree, which line you want to take that you know you can't get through the fairway. It's just gone too straight. Going to run out of room.
She got a little kick left off the tree, but oh no. Okay, there it is. Thought she might get stymied behind one.
Yeah, I got scared for that one too.
You know, Doug, and I think JR mentioned it, the 3-wood, a little bit more loft. You can turn from right to left. These girls, unfortunately, the wind has now died down. I think if it was blowing like it was at 16 and maybe at 17, they potentially could have used that 3-wood. But now with the length of the hole and the wind down, you pretty much have to hit driver. So it does make the tee shot a little bit more narrow, this hug in the left.
Good.
She's taking
wow, did she take an aggressive route.
Woo! That JT line right there.
When you're a freshman, you just don't know any better. Sometimes that's a gift.
She definitely had a lump in her throat before that hit the ground.
Watch her. Watch this ball.
Started it right down.
Playing a draw.
Hazard line.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it just goes to Craig Perks' point that you can take it right down the left side, and if you challenge the left, you're going to get a shot at a great opening to this hole. Pete Dye, mastermind.
Today's coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship is brought to you by Chase Sapphire. Upgrade your travel and dining experiences with Chase Sapphire. By Kohler, helping people live gracious, healthy, and sustainable lives. And by ADT. When every second counts, count on ADT. All right, back out to the 18th. And this is Chelsea Medina from the Pine Straw.
Yeah, she does have an avenue to get through there. It did clip the tree, but advanced into the fairway. It's just fine.
That's going to leave her a little testy pitch upcoming to play that well right of the hole.
Just such a great hole this 18th hole is. With that little mogul fields over there on the right. Water all up along the left. It is Mother's Day, so happy early Mother's Day, and that mom is taking care of its babies. Now don't get greedy. You each get some, but just be patient. Trinity a hang.
And Doug and Justin, I always thought this right hole location was the most difficult to get to. There's a shelf, only 2 or 3 paces left. Everything feeds down to low area. Get past, it releases all the way to the back. And now the wind picked up. 127 for Trinity. You can't really take it on a direct line because coming over the edge of those mounds and bunkers, you're landing on a downslope. Try and use, I was going to say angle of descent, try and get it in there high, but Trinity hits most shots a little bit lower, but it's okay.
Just about hole high.
Just keeping that next putter chip up on the plateau of the hole. That's going to be a challenge in itself.
Now, this Samantha Gibbs, you think about what could have transpired here on that tee shot. Craig, she was skirting that penalty area. Instead, now she's got a great look here.
Yep. You challenge the water. You don't say how close it was, and now you've got 112 from the left side, just looking right down the throat of the flag. Needs to get down.
Just had 0 spin on that. Maybe hit it maybe a touch husky. But did not reap the benefits of the good drive.
All right, Kendall Jackson from the Pine Straw.
Yeah, that one limb was going to bother her. That is a marvelous shot to keep it on the green because everything, it should stay. There's a cut of collar there.
Yep.
If that had any more pace, that's going in the water. So to get right there might be problematic up against the cut, but really good shot.
And again, this is so critical setting up for tomorrow. But as we take a look at for tomorrow, what is going to transpire? Well, over today on the Valley course, Florida A&M has opened up a huge lead in the men's Division I. They are plus 14. They have a 21-shot lead going into the final round tomorrow. They will be playing on the stadium course. Now the men's individual, they are also playing on the stadium course, and look at what we have set up for tomorrow. Doug, I mean, you want a tight leaderboard, you got one.
Yeah, this is bunched up. I mean, anybody even plus 3 has a chance to win this championship. Everybody needs to get a good night rest tonight.
Now Medina, her third.
Just awkward from where she is. They're coming over the mounding. Yeah, that's a beautiful shot.
Needs to stop though, Perks. Okay.
And now the women also in the individual will play on the stadium course tomorrow. And again, you've got yourself set up for a really exciting championship round. Una Shu leads by 1. Coyote Moodley, who is in the lead after 18 holes, dropped some shots today, just 4 back.
You know, I've got my eye on Coyote coming in here tomorrow. I think the way she plays, the attitude she possesses, I think she could actually vault up this leaderboard. We've seen her last year fall just short of Pukine there at Shoal Creek, and
maybe this might be her year to turn something around, post a great number on a Wednesday afternoon.
So we'll be following all of that on the stadium course. The women's and the men's Division 2 will be playing on the Valley course, and we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on. Again, we're going to crown 5 champions tomorrow. You've also got the medalist honors. There is a lot at stake still left to be played for tomorrow. And as you said, right now, Texas A&M Corpus Christi looking for their 4th consecutive championship. Howard looking for its 1st.
This is what I miss about college golf. Honestly, like this camera shot, I so appreciate it. I loved having the teammates up on the hill after a round was over, the camaraderie, the smack talking, the reminiscing over the round. That's one of my big memories that I miss about collegiate golf.
Well, I mean, we heard JR talk about it before. You know, every athlete, when they play a team sport, and golf is usually not a team sport, but college golf is, everyone says, I miss the camaraderie. And here is Gibbs now for her 3rd.
Yeah, and you feel compelled to not let them down either. Try and get this ball up and down, which is going to be really difficult. Pretty good shot, actually.
JR, how do the teams compare between your golf team and your NBA teams?
Well, seeing how I'm about 15 years older than everybody on my
I mean, you're the Tom Brady of the golf team, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm old man. They call me Pops, you know, Uncle, you know, all of the old dad jokes, they got them off for me. But, you know, I welcome with open arms. I'm fortunate enough to be in a position to mold some of the young generation, and I'm not too old to be able to learn from them as well.
Yeah. There's the Howard Bison women looking, cheering on Kendall Jackson, and Kendall with that escape shot.
Yeah, the only difficulty here, Justin and Doug, is that you're close to that primary cut of rough, and then you're coming up a pretty significant rise and a lot of movement in the middle of this putt from left to right. And then the wind's whipping in the other opposite direction. I think you just try and concentrate on getting the correct speed here.
Yeah, contact premium.
Always going to be difficult up against that collar, Doug.
Perks, I don't think she did a bad job. I know it was kind of came off right on her a bit, but as far as speed goes, you got to take that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you could have. There were other options in play, maybe, you know, high road or a belly, but I think the putter was probably going to give her the best chance for the best result. And you're right, she's got a chance to make the par.
By the way, J.R. Smith on the broadcast. You think Steph Curry is watching right now with the Bison women competing 2nd, a chance to win, wearing his logo?
It's a JR question.
I think he's definitely watching. I think he's going to put a call in because my girl Tori with the Aggie pride is at the top. So we got a little rivalry going on. Maybe me and Steph can settle it outside.
I love it. Trinity Hing from off the green, just about pin high. How does this putt look, Craig?
Yeah, looks good. As long as it comes through the fringe smoothly. Once it gets on the green, downhill and moving to the left. Just watch how it reacts putting through the Bermuda overseat. Looked to be pretty smooth.
Oh, just stop breaking. That was a good putt.
Hard to believe that goes back up the hill, Perks.
Yeah, that defied gravity right there. Grain will do some crazy things.
She'll put a mark on it.
Played this hole mostly stress-free. You see Jalea Culliver up on the hill.
Now Medina. Trying to save her par. Go. Oh, good effort.
It has been an absolute battle out there today.
Well, Western New Mexico University. Trying to cheer on Chelsea Medina. Look at that smile. I love it. Okay, now this right here is a big putt. Samantha Gibbs trying to save her par here at 18.
A green direction and wind are opposite here. You play it pretty straight. She fought on the greens. You know, her speed wasn't great. She had a couple of 3-putts on the back nine, but man, she made some great birdies. Impressive.
So right now, if Kendall Jackson can make this putt for par, they'll gain one more shot in the team competition.
And Doug, I liked your comment. I don't think she hit too many poor shots today. Maybe some strategic errors with the club off the tee at 14 and maybe the layup at 16. But she's hit a lot of great shots today. And this would be sort of one of these environments where you'd like to finish hole in the putt and get the applause of your teammates and everyone else around the green.
9 sounds a little more doable than 10.
It's also a momentum swing. You gain a shot on the final hole heading into the final round.
Did she hit it?
And she did it. What a good par save right there by Kendall Jackson.
Yeah, that's a grinding round of 76, Mr. Perks.
It's certainly a grind out here. You get late in the day as things firm up and speed up, and been out here a long time.
Now Gibbs will have this for bogey. And that's a good putt. But she drops her shot here. Her team looking for 4 in a row. Back-to-back 74s for the freshman out of Fort Worth, Texas.
She's going to come back tomorrow, Justin, ready to play.
Yeah. Trinity Ahang has this for her par. Don't sleep on Trinity Ahang. She puts this in. She'll be at +6, 5 back in the medalist. Nicely done.
Thank you. Good luck, Coach. Nice playing with you. Thank you.
72-78 for Ahang, and she will go back and play the Valley course tomorrow.
Again.
All play is done for today. This is what it looks like. A 9-shot lead for Texas A&M Corpus Christi over Howard, heading into the final round tomorrow. A 9-shot lead. Doug, Burko, you guys have said that is not a lot in team play when you've got 4 scores that have to count. So that's the case in women's team. For the men's division 2, if 9's not a lot, what does 4 mean? That's what Lincoln University has over Bluefield State. Chaminade at 47. Well, it's shaping up to be a lot of fun. Round 3 coverage of the PGA WORKS Collegiate Championship continues tomorrow with live tournament coverage from the stadium course beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern, right after golf today. This place, TPC Sawgrass. We've seen some incredible shots over the years. It's setting up for some dramatic moments tomorrow. For Doug Smith, Steve Burkowski, Craig Perks, and our special guests in the booth, J.R. Smith, I'm Justin Kutcher saying good night for the players. Of course, we'll see you tomorrow for the final round.